has a mindset where it punches below its weight. We have to punch not above our weight. We have to punch not below our weight. We have to increase our weight and punch the post.
ये हमारा सिद्धांत है, हम घर में घुस के मारेंगे.
You know, victims of terrorism do not sit together with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism.
नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेव टॉक्स. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यार मैं सबको बोलूंगा, आप लोगों ने कितने रिक्वेस्ट करा एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल ने मेरे को डायरेक्टली मैसेज करा, ईमेल्स लिखी कि साहब बेदी सर को लेके आओ, मार्शल बेदी को लेके आओ, हमको सुनना है एयरफोर्स ने किया क्या पाकिस्तान में. तो ऑब्वियसली हम सर से वो सवाल तो पूछेंगे. पहले तो सर नमस्कार एंड आई मस्ट से थैंक यू सो मच टू एवरीवन इन द इंडियन एयरफोर्स, ऑल आवर आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ऑफ कोर्स, बट especially the Indian Air Force. आप लोगों ने, you know, and all your service, because you're recently retired. So the kind of stuff that you've done, we've seen the teeth of it. मैं बड़ा सिंपल सी चीज बोलूं, हमने आज एक्चुअली दांत देखे हैं उसके चलते हुए. एंड आपने you spent personally so much time with this channel, sir. And आपने हमेशा हमको अश्योर किया है that don't worry, we know what we are doing. Even if we may be in a little bit of a problem, यार we know how to fight. आपने हमेशा एक ये चीज बोला है, and I must say sir, you've been proven right to the last drop of ink in that sentence. So thank you so much for the time, the learnings, the service, and what the force has done to Pakistan. Namaskar.
Thank you. नमस्कार आदि. बहुत खुशी होती है तुम्हारे साथ बैठ के. एंड यस, आई हैव रिटायर्ड रिसेंटली और मैं भी ग्रो किया हूँ तुम्हारी चैनल के थ्रू ही. अदरवाइज आई नेवर हैड एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू इंटरेक्ट किसी ऑडियंस के साथ. एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच. आई रिमेंबर यू एनकरेज्ड मी टू डू दिस एंड सिंस देन आई हैव बीन एंजॉयिंग इट थॉरली. एंड योर ऑडियंस इज ग्रेट. उन्होंने बहुत एनकरेज किया.
Bedi sir fought in the last air war. Let me just say this, flying 35 successful missions over Kargil. ठीक है जी. So the last air war that was fought with Pakistan, sir was there. And the next air war we are sitting right now. So sir, tell us what happened.
Yeah.
क्या हुआ?
Thank you so much. And I know Aadi, you have been requesting के sir आओ बात करो etc. और जो आपने अभी बोला ना कि अभी recently retire हुआ, because 3 साल एयरफोर्स की हिस्ट्री में कोई बहुत ज्यादा समय नहीं है. और जो मॉडर्नाइजेशंस आज हैं या जो इक्विपमेंट आज है वो तब भी था या पाइपलाइन में था. Okay, so what happens is why I was slightly hesitating to open up. एक तो बहुत सी ब्रीफिंग्स अटेंड करने को मिल रही थी कि क्या हो सकता है, या फिर मेरे को ये था कि अगर मैं अपने दिमाग से भी सोच के कुछ बताता हूँ तो आज के जो एयर मार्शल हैं तकरीबन वैसा ही सोच रहे होंगे. तो इट शुड नॉट हैपन कि आई जस्ट से समथिंग ऑफ माई ओन कि भाई ऐसे कर सकते हैं, ये कर सकते हैं, जस्ट टू शो माई नॉलेज in advance. And it so happens that people are actually thinking something like that because कौन लोग हैं, हमारे ही लोग हैं, हमारे ही साथी थे, हमारे ही जूनियर थे जो उस पोजीशंस पे हैं आज, राइट. सो इसलिए थोड़ा संकोच कर रहा था मैं. बट अब जब सब कुछ खुल के सामने आ गया है, अब नाउ इट लीव्स मी टू एनालाइज इन माय ओन वे. कोई इमोशंस नहीं होंगी आदि. आई मीन प्योर, जैसे मैं बोलता हूँ आपकी ऑडियंस भी लाइक करते हैं, प्योर मैथमेटिकली, लाइक फैक्ट टू फैक्ट कि भाई हुआ क्या, राइट. लाइक यू सेड बहुत कुछ हुआ, पर कैसे हुआ, क्या सच है क्या झूठ है, वो हम थोड़ा सा एनालाइज करने की कोशिश करेंगे, राइट. सो एवरीबडी नो. नाउ आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू काउंट के वेव टू वेव कैसे हुआ, हमने ये भेजा उन्होंने ये भेजा, वो तकरीबन नोन है और एक छोटा सा गूगल करो तो सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. उस बात करने की जरूरत है जो प्रोबेबली गूगल में अवेलेबल नहीं है, जो कि मेरे अपने दिमाग की सोच है, जो मेरे साथ है, राइट. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल बहुत लोगों का ना फर्स्ट ये सवाल होता था कि इंडियन एयरफोर्स की कैपेबिलिटी कैसे है वर्सेस पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स. दिस इज अ वेरी बेसिक क्वेश्चन. तो मेरा आंसर अभी भी है और तभी भी मैं बोलता था कि ये जो टोटल प्रोविस है किसी भी फोर्स की, चाहे एयरफोर्स हो या कुछ भी हो, उसका कंपैरिजन नहीं आंका जा सकता जबकि एप्लीकेशन पीसमील हो. अगर खुल के सारा फोर्स डिप्लॉय होती है या फुल एप्लीकेशन होती है, तो ही आप किसी किस्म का कंपैरिजन कर सकते हैं। अगर मैं बिल्कुल साधारण शब्दों में बताऊं तो अब किसी के पास 10 करोड़ रुपए हैं और किसी के पास 1 करोड़ रुपया है, वो तभी सामने खुल के आएगा अगर आप बहुत कोई 5 करोड़ की चीज खरीद रहे हो। अगर आप कोई 2 लाख की चीज खरीद रहे हो तो उसमें कैसे पता चलेगा, क्या फर्क पता चलेगा कि किसके पास 1 करोड़ है या 10 करोड़ है, क्योंकि फुल एप्लीकेशन, फुल रिसोर्सेस तो डिप्लॉय ही नहीं हो रहे हैं। बट नाउ बात ये है कि उस सेक्शन में उस जब एप्लीकेशन हुई तो वो कितनी स्मार्टली आपने अप्लाई किया उसको। और कमिंग बैक टू सेम एग्जांपल, स्मार्टनेस उसमें गिनी जाएगी कि जिसने भी वो जो छोटी सी चीज खरीदी, किसने अच्छी खरीदी, किसने सस्ते में खरीदी, राइट। सो आई मीन एफर्ट वर्सेस पे ऑफ किसका बेटर था, दैट इज ऑल दैट वी कैन जज, ओके। और कुछ जो इमोशंस वर फ्लाइंग, कि ये हो गया वो हो गया, वो ठीक है, बट हम वेरी प्रोफेशनली इसको एनालाइज करेंगे, ठीक है। अगर शुरू में देखा जाए ना आदि, तो हर एक चीज की एक प्राइस टैग होती है, ओके। एवरीथिंग हैज ए प्राइस वी से, एंड सो हैज योर मोरालिटी और सो हैज योर मॉरल वैल्यूज। व्हाई डू आई से दैट? कि हमने क्या सोचा, अपने डीजीएमओ हमारे एयर मार्शल भारती की ब्रीफिंग सुनी होगी, ठीक है, जो बाद में हुई। उन्होंने बड़े साफ शब्दों में बोला कि हमारा एम क्या था। हमारा एम था कि हमने सिर्फ टेररिस्ट के ठिकानों को हिट करना है, हमें और कुछ नहीं करना है, क्योंकि वही हमारा एम था। अब ये क्या है कि ये बड़ी सिलेक्टिव एप्लीकेशन ऑफ एयर पावर है, ओके। ये एक आप प्राइस पे कर रहे हो अपनी मॉरल वैल्यू के लिए, अपनी मोरालिटी के लिए। बिकॉज अगर एक्चुअली में देखा जाए कि टेनेंट्स ऑफ एयर पावर हैं और आप एयर पावर को सही मैंने में एयर पावर की तरह यूज करना चाहते हो, तो जो हमने थर्ड डे किया ना, वो हमें पहले दिन करना चाहिए।
एयर डिफेंस को मार के फिर अंदर जाके
एयर डिफेंस को मार के उनके, फर्स्ट यू हिट द एयर डिफेंस, then you attack their airfields, you make a corridor for yourself and you destroy their aircraft on ground. This is how the air power starts, right? बट क्या है, हम नहीं करना चाहते थे वहां पे। सो देयर वाज ए प्राइस टू पे, ओके। अब इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि अगर आप पाकिस्तान के अंदर अटैक कर रहे हैं उनकी किसी इंस्टॉलेशन पे, चाहे हम उसे टेररिस्ट अटैक बोलें या कुछ भी बोलें, तो ये बट नेचुरल था कि थोड़ी रिटेलिएशन होगी। वो अलग बात है कि उन्हें करनी चाहिए थी, हमने टेररिस्ट अटैक किए या नहीं किए, बट आई थिंक इट्स फेयर टू अज्यूम कि रिटेलिएशन विल हैपन। सो देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट कि इंडियन एयरफोर्स तो रेडी थी इस रिटेलिएशन के लिए कि रिटेलिएशन होगी। तो हमारी जो एयर डिफेंस है या जो भी अदर एसेट्स हैं वो पूरी तैयारी में थे। अब इसको छोड़ के अगर हम वो बात आए एयर बैटल की, जो सबसे मशहूर जो डीजीएमओ एवीएम औरंगजेब की ब्रीफिंग है, ठीक है, वो बहुत, बिकॉज उसमें उन्होंने रफेल क्लेम किए। नाउ आई अंडरस्टैंड, लेट मी बी ए वेरी स्टेट्समैन लाइक के ओके, ही इज आल्सो ए सोल्जर, ही वाज डूइंग हिज जॉब, आई रिस्पेक्ट हिज विजडम, जो भी है। मैं कोई लेट डाउन नहीं करने वाला किसी को कि क्या बोल रहे थे, बट हम जैसे एक कॉम्बैट मिशन के बाद बैठ के अपने ब्रीफिंग रूम में या डीब्रीफ रूम में उसको एनालाइज करते हैं कि किसने क्या किया। द एम इज नॉट टू लेट डाउन एनीवन, एम इज टू जस्ट एनालाइज व्हाट हैपेंड, ओके। तो 2-4 चीजें मैं सामने लाना चाहूंगा, बिकॉज उससे ना बहुत ट्रैक्शन किसी सर्कल्स में, जो लोग उसको बिलीव करना चाहते हैं या गलीबल माइंड्स होते हैं, वो सोचते हैं कि शायद ठीक बोल रहा है और हम कुछ छुपा रहे हैं, राइट। तो अगर उसको बिल्कुल एनालाइज किया जाए टेक्निकली और मैथमेटिकली, तो प्रोबेबली वी विल कम टू नो कि क्या है, ओके। अब उनके इधर 2-4 स्टेटमेंट्स को लेके मैं बात करूंगा, ठीक है। वो ये कि उन्होंने बोला कि भाई हमने बिल्डअप होता देखा अपने ना 12 बजे, उन्होंने कुछ टाइम बताया ऐसे है ना, 12 बजे हमने देखा कि एयरक्राफ्ट टेक ऑफ कर रहे थे, ओके। और उन्होंने बिल्डअप करना शुरू किया, यहाँ इतने एयरक्राफ्ट, यहाँ 60-70 एयरक्राफ्ट जो भी काउंट किए, और बड़े नाइस बॉक्सेस बनाए उन्होंने। आपके पास अगर पिक्चर है तो आप शो कर सकते हैं। तो उन्होंने ऊपर से लेके नीचे से नीचे बॉक्सेस बनाए, और उन्होंने बोला कि जब हमें पता चला, या समथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट। तो उन्होंने बोला कि भाई जब हमें पता चला, विद इन 2 मिनट्स वी गॉट आवर 42, या वी कैन लीव द स्लाइड नाउ, लेट्स सी ईच अदर इन फुल। सो उन्होंने बोला कि भाई विद इन 2 मिनट्स वी गॉट आवर 42 एयरक्राफ्ट एयरबोर्न। नाउ इट इज प्रैक्टिकली इम्पॉसिबल। नाउ आई बिलीव दैट व्हेन यू आर ब्रीफिंग टेक्निकली और एन ऑडियंस लाइक दैट, यू गॉट टू बी फैक्चुअल, यू कांट बी क्लोकियल, ओके। तो आप ऐसे नहीं बात कर सकते ऐसे फर्जी तौर से, ओके। अब कोई भी जो एयरक्राफ्ट है, हाँ जेट, 2 मिनट था MiG-21 का टाइम, हमने किया हुआ है 2 मिनट में स्क्रैम्बल, पर उसमें कुछ नहीं होता था। There are no avionics in that. You just have to press the button. That also if you're sitting in the aircraft. Even MiG-20 took 5 minutes to airborne if you are in your restroom. राइट, आई मीन इन योर रेस्टिंग प्लेस और बंकर में। अगर आप एयरक्राफ्ट में स्ट्रैप्ड अप हो तो मिग 21 को 2 मिनट में टेक ऑफ किया जा सकता था, पर जब हम मिराजेस में आ गए या मिग 29 में आ गए, ये क्या है कि इन एयरक्राफ्ट में इनर्शियल नेविगेशन यूनिट होता है, राइट, जिसको अलाइनमेंट के लिए टाइम चाहिए, इसके वेपन सिस्टम्स हैं। ओके, आई मीन ऐसे नहीं कि आप यू किक द टायर, लाइट द फायर एंड गेट एयर। ओके, चलो मैं मान लिया, हम बोलते हैं कि भाई एक बोलने का लहजा होता है, जब कोई बोलता है कि अब कितनी देर में आ रहे हो, तो हम ऐसे बोल देते हैं कि 2 मिनट में आया, उसका मतलब 2 मिनट इज नॉट रियली 2 मिनट्स। सो ओके, आई ग्रांट हिम दैट ही सेड कि इन क्विक टाइम वी गॉट एबो। ओके, फेयर इनफ दैट इन क्विक टाइम वी गॉट एबो। Okay, now you are hovering around there at some other place and Indian Air Force aircraft, now you see I fail to understand कि 12 बजे से बिल्डअप होना उन्होंने देख लिया और अटैक ये ऑन रिकॉर्ड है कि 1:30 to 2 के बीच में हुआ,
1.5 घंटे घूम रहे थे।
हाँ, तो मतलब 1 घंटा 1.5 घंटा वी वर व्हाट वर वी डूइंग, ट्राइंग टू वेक अप द पाकिस्तानी एयरफोर्स के कम हियर, लुक एट अस, वी आर हियर, यू नो, हमारी तरफ देखिए, हम इकट्ठे हो रहे हैं, हो रहे हैं। आई मीन यू नो, कम ऑफ इट। नाउ थिंग इज, दूसरी बात ये है कि ये जो एयरक्राफ्ट थे आदि, ये भी फैक्ट है कि कोई हमने बॉर्डर क्रॉस नहीं किया, राइट। ये स्टैंड ऑफ वेपन थे। कौन से वेपन थे? कोई भी हो सकते हैं। आई थिंक इन माय प्रोफेशनल ओपिनियन, देखिए बिल्कुल जाहिर नहीं है कि कौन से वेपन यूज किए, बट प्रोफेशनल ओपिनियन मेरा बताता है कि प्रोबेबली स्कैल्प नहीं यूज हुई होगी फर्स्ट डे, बिकॉज ये जो टेररिस्ट टारगेट थे वो स्कैल्प इज नॉट ए सूटेबल वेपन फ्रॉम कॉस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। बहुत महंगा है, बहुत लॉन्ग रेंज का है, यू डोंट एंड अप यूजिंग दैट फॉर दिस टारगेट व्हेन यू हैव अदर सूटेबल वेपन्स। तो रैम्पेज एक है इजरायली वेपन, 150 किलोमीटर 200 किलोमीटर तक भी जाता है, 1.6 मार्क स्पीड है। ओके, फिर हमारे पास ये हैमर है, यू नो, ग्लाइड बॉम्ब है, बट 70-80 किलोमीटर तक जाता है इन फेवरेबल कंडीशन। स्पाइस है जो हमने बालाकोट में भी यूज किया, लॉन्ग रेंज है। तो ये क्या है कि टारगेट के डिस्टेंस के हिसाब से ये हमने वेपन्स प्रोबेबली सिलेक्ट किए होंगे कि इन टारगेट्स को ये लेगा। और अब आप ये बताइए कि जब आप स्टैंड ऑफ वेपन यूज करते हैं तो क्यों करते हैं? क्योंकि आप स्टैंड ऑफ रेंज से उसको टारगेट कर सकें। नाउ नो पॉइंट कैरिंग ए 150 किलोमीटर वेपन एंड गोइंग 50 किलोमीटर फ्रॉम द टारगेट एंड फायरिंग ना। यू विल बी स्टैंड ऑफ एट ए स्टैंड ऑफ रेंज। और ये भी मान लेना कि ये जो 60-70 एयरक्राफ्ट हो रहे थे, इनको कोई भी नहीं बता रहा था कि भी पाकिस्तान के एयरक्राफ्ट एयरबोर्न हो गए हैं, वो वहां पे वेट कर रहे हैं। आई मीन वी हैड नो IACCS, वी हैड नो एवैक्स, सो इंडियन एयरफोर्स एयरक्राफ्ट आर टोटली इन द डार्क। तो व्हाइल दे न्यू दैट 60-70 एयरक्राफ्ट इकट्ठे हो गए हैं, हमको कोई पता नहीं चला कि उनके एयरक्राफ्ट भी इकट्ठे हो गए हैं।
सर कंपनी के बाग में घूमने गए थे हम बस।
So now what happens is, I mean, again, just getting back to professional stuff, that ये लोग जो हमने वेपन लॉन्च किए, ओके, अब जिन वेपन्स का मैंने जिक्र किया है, अब ये देखो कि अगर 100 किलोमीटर्स पे टारगेट है या 150 किलोमीटर्स पे टारगेट है, तो आप रैम्पेज मिसाइल लॉन्च करते हो, तो अगर मार्क 1.6 स्पीड है उसकी, आप तकरीबन 500 मीटर्स पर सेकेंड, ठीक है, इट विल टेक 300 seconds to go to the target, right, which is 5 minutes. ओके, सिमिलरली अगर आप हैमर की बात करते हो तो 60 किलोमीटर भी अगर जाता है तो इट्स ए ग्लाइड बॉम्ब। ओके, वो 25 to 30 मीटर्स पर सेकंड उसकी रेंज है, बहुत तकरीबन आधा घंटा लगेगा उसको ग्लाइड करते हुए वहां जाते हुए, ठीक है। फिर अगर स्पाइस बॉम्ब है जो भी है, अब मैं किस बात को क्या दर्शाना चाह रहा हूं इससे, कि दूसरी तरफ ये जो सारे वेपन्स थे फायर एंड फॉरगेट टाइप थे। आई मीन किसी को ट्रैक करने की जरूरत नहीं, ठीक है, वो सारे INGPS पे जा रहे हैं, उस पर कोऑर्डिनेट्स भर दिए आपने और वो अपने टारगेट की तरफ जा रहे हैं। अब अगर उसको ट्रैक करने की जरूरत नहीं है और जो एयरक्राफ्ट एयरबोर्न हुए हैं और उन्होंने स्टैंड ऑफ वेपन लॉन्च कर दिया, तो फिर क्यों रुकेंगे वहां पे? आई मीन दे विल क्विकली गो बैक नो टू देयर बेसिस। ओके, एंड नाउ नरेटिव कम्स ऑफ AVM औरंगजेब। देखिए उन्होंने क्या बोला कि भाई हमारे रूल्स ऑफ एंगेजमेंट थे। ओके, आई एम जस्ट कोटिंग, यू नो, कोट अनकोट, आई मीन एक लफ्ज इधर उधर हो सकता है बट एसेंस बिल्कुल सेम है। बहुत बार सुनी मैंने ब्रीफिंग उनकी, जस्ट टू एनालाइज इट। उन्होंने बोला कि हमारे रूल्स ऑफ एंगेजमेंट थे कि जब तक हिंदुस्तान के एयरक्राफ्ट बॉर्डर क्रॉस नहीं करते या LOC क्रॉस नहीं करते, हम ऑफेंसिव एक्शन नहीं लेंगे। आई मीन दे आर ट्राइंग टू मैच अप विद आवर नॉन एस्केलेटरी नोट कि भाई हमने भी बोला ये, आई मीन दिस इज लाइक आई सेड इन कोट अनकोट। ओके, बट फिर उन्होंने बोला जब इन्होंने वेपन लॉन्च कर दिए और हमने देखा कि भाई अब तो इन्होंने वेपन लॉन्च कर दिए और LOC वेपन क्रॉस हो गए, तो फिर हमारे रूल्स ऑफ एंगेजमेंट चेंज हो गए। फिर हमने बोला कि अब हमें इन टारगेट्स को ये अब दुश्मन के जहाज हो गए हैं। नाउ for God's sake, it's beyond me that how can you make out a weapon crossing LOC trajectory? Like you are in the air and you find an enemy aircraft has launched its weapon, and now you make out the weapon has crossed LOC now, and now I'm live. Okay. In all fairness, when will you come to know कि weapon launch कर दिया जब weapon hit हो गया?
हाँ.
It is a strike of the weapon which will tell you that we have been hit. And that information, and you don't even know what are the targets, right? You don't know where are they going to hit. So it's not that you're watching those targets के मैं constantly उन पे focus कर रहा हूँ कि अच्छा अब hit हो गया तो मेरे को instantly पता चल गया. Information must have flown. Somebody must have told someone. Some time must have lapsed. So from taking time of flight of the weapon into account, taking information gap into the account, I think this Indian aircraft, would have been much safer and way back, to their destination, right? I mean, the destination of home. Yeah. Only aircraft which probably would be in the air would be air defense aircraft, right? Because you're actually seeing Pakistani aircraft across. You can't be now blind to it. I mean, I cannot have a situation that I have launched weapons have hit there, I see Pakistani aircraft in the air, and now I vacate my airspace, right?
And now आपके combat air defense के लिए
combat air defense के aircraft जो superiority fighters हैं, okay, with long range missiles. I mean, Rafale boasts of Meteor missile 300 kilometers, almost open source information range, okay. You have Astra missiles, you had Mika missiles on Mirage 2000. I mean, all relatively long range missiles, right? And you probably would have been guided by AWACS or IACCS. What is the enemy target position with respect to you? You remember Balakot mein, when these guys were coming, F-16s, etc., or Su-30s were very actively being controlled by our ground station so that they do not come in their missile firing range. Now, it is not, I don't understand, because I have been part of the same Air Force, के आपने PL-15 के लिए केटर ही नहीं किया. मींस आपके टारगेट, आपके जो अटैक, आपकी जो फिलॉसफी है या आपकी जो concept of operation did not cater for a PL-15 missile. So the range that you're keeping your defense aircraft from the enemy aircraft must be catering for PL-15, like we catered for AMRAAM. In Balakot, right? Okay. Now what happens is, so probably, and even if the distances you see, these enemy aircraft were well inside, right? I mean, these people were well inside. Our aircraft were well inside. And अब जो वो क्या बताते हैं कि वेक्टर्स देते हैं, कि अच्छा पहला MiG-29 यहाँ शूट हुआ, ये वन ऑन रेडियल ऑफ 023 19 kilometers from Srinagar. दूसरा ये हुआ this. Now, I mean, again, professionally, क्या आपको लास्ट पता चल सकता है जबकि आप मिसाइल लॉन्च कर रहे हो? इट इज वेल पॉसिबल. यू हैव ए लॉन्ग रेंज रेडार, आपने रेडार पे पिकअप किया, आपको वो DMAX-1 जो बिल्कुल लास्ट बड़ी रेंज, आपको कुछ फायर कमांड मिली और आपने अगर PL-15 लॉन्च कर दी जो उन्होंने की होंगी. बट व्हाट हैपेंस इज
मिली है यहाँ पर, तो
मिली है ना. तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, बट फॉर दैट मिसाइल टू हिट it has to be launched in a assured zone, right? And even then, what is the point of having active missile if you're still tracking it? So aircraft must have maneuvered long, way off. It must have definitely traveled, great distance. Even if you take a PL-15, Mark 3, Mark 4 missile, 1 kilometer a second also अगर आप लगाएं, तो 1 kilometer a second means 150 kilometers तो फिर भी ट्रेवल कर रही है ना यार. अगर वो बोल रहे हैं कि PL-15 की रेंज ही 100-150 किलोमीटर है, तो 2.5 मिनट तो मिसाइल को Mark 3, Mark 4 पे भी लगे होंगे. तो 2.5 मिनट पे that aircraft from your last lock-in is not really waiting at the same place, and in the tail on, the same range reduces to much less. These are generally the ranges when a manufacturer, tells you the range, बताता है कि इसकी मैक्सिमम रेंज क्या है, वो बेचने के लिए बता रहा है, ओके, और या इंप्रेस करने के लिए वो क्या लेता है, बेस्ट कंडीशन. जैसे रोड गाड़ी की माइलेज नहीं बताते अंडर टेस्ट कंडीशंस, राइट, कि आपके पास स्पीड एडवांटेज है, आपके पास हाइट एडवांटेज है, और आप हेड ऑन मोड में हो, मींस जो टारगेट एयरक्राफ्ट है आपकी तरफ ही आ रहा है, 0.9 मार्क और 1 मार्क पे आपकी तरफ आ रहा है, आप उसकी तरफ जा रहे हो सुपरसोनिक स्पीड पे, और आपने लॉन्च किया और ये रेंज अचीव हुई. For a maneuvering target, these kind of ranges, they shrink. Okay. Now, okay, even if you grant that, all I'm saying is, even if they were to say that, okay, we got assured lock on और हमने भी PL-15 लॉन्च कर दी और मैंने इस रेंज से लॉन्च की कि चांस नहीं था दुश्मन के जहाज बचने का, but to pinpoint that this aircraft got shot at 023 this distance, in my professional opinion, seems to be kind of a made-up story. Okay. Now the second thing is that now फिर वो RT play करते हैं, Godzilla formation की, right? कि Godzilla 1 और ये वो etc. And when he cracked a joke, so mean that evidence actually will not be admissible even as subjudicial magistrate's court, right? I mean, if you were to say just a simple RT, but okay, leave aside. Now he says Godzilla, and then he cracks a joke that, like Godzillas have gone extinct. Similarly, this Rafale went extinct. And, I wanted to exclaim that yes, Godzillas did go extinct, but probably they left their brains somewhere behind, for anyone to talk like that. Okay, I mean, just a joke, nothing personal. Okay. So now what happens is that RT, you can just record just about anything. What is the forensics of it? What exactly is your evidence that this was RT of this Rafale one? Last point I would like to make is that when you want to convince people of what has happened, now you don't make PowerPoint presentations of aircraft present, nicely drawn aircraft. You would show the radar plot. Your radar plot is being recorded. So if you had these positions and you have picked up these aircraft and you show the, how I would show the radar plot, one Rafale painting there, which you think is a Rafale. And I will show here, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the plot, see this, and here the blip is vanished. Because you claim that you're seeing it, no?
जो हमने किया था पिछली बारी, हमने दिखाया था radar का पूरा plot.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is just professionally, you want to convince, because I'm not saying you should have done it. I'm saying you're claiming that you shot down a Rafale, you shot down a Su-30 when he was on this bearing at this distance. How will you know that? You will know that only if you're seeing it, you're plotting it. And if you have that plot, then why not show that plot? Okay, here it is, I will repeat myself, कि ये है भाई blip है दुश्मन के जहाज का, ये देखो अभी दिख रहा है आपको. And now you will see my missile is going, if the radar can pick up missile, okay? And here this blip has vanished. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my evidence that I've shot on an aircraft. I mean, otherwise, what exactly are these claims? You can claim just about anything, right? And now this is just to sum up that thing. Now, we lost aircraft or we did not lose aircraft. We certainly, in my opinion, did not lose it to PL-15s. Surface to air missile or some other battle has played down. We will see over a period of time, right? Now, the thing is, when the battle progresses, okay, another point that I want to bring out is that our air defense, that S-400 system, which we call, has got different variants, it's not necessary we are using 400 kilometers range because that's very fast, probably anti-ballistic. There are 3 versions for different ranges. अब ये क्या है कि why are these Pakistani aircraft not coming close to, closer to the border? Okay, because of this air defense S-400 presence. And why so? I will just come to that. Okay. Now, you see, then we used next day when this Pakistani launched and retaliated, they launched these drones or Fateh 1 series rockets. They're extended range rockets, and now these drones which they use, Turkish drones, Ziha or Bayraktar or whatever it is, in large numbers, their own indigenous ones. Hard and soft kill, all our air defense systems, probably Akash, Pichora, Ursa, Igla, L-70s, Su-23. I mean, whatever weapons you had, they worked. And even I would say that these low-cost drones, or whatever it is, they don't have very sophisticated avionics. If the GPS you spoof, then it will probably rotate and just fall there. So it was a combination of both these things. Okay.
EW, anti-drone, everything. Okay.
Yeah. And what did we use when we used next day for their HQ9, which was probably would have troubled us. It's a potent surface-to-air weapon system, no doubt about it. Very long range. I mean, originally Chinese version it's about almost 200 kilometers, but probably their export version they say is about 120 to 140 kilometers. Fair guess. Okay, so even 120 kilometers range is good enough range. Okay. Now let's see what happened. We use our Harpy and Harrow. Harpy is a kamikaze kind of loitering munition. Kamikaze is a different thing. Kamikaze is like, which is going from place A to B, goes and just hits the target. Loitering munition is which has got the ability, which has got a long endurance like 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. Okay, ये अपने टारगेट पे जाता है, फिर लॉइटर करता है. Okay, और टारगेट को ढूंढता है. जो हार्पी है वो एंटी रेडिएशन है, मींस वो रडार की रेडिएशन को पकड़ेगा और जहां से उसको रेडिएशन मिलती है वो रेडिएशन पे होम ऑन करके वो टारगेट पे जाएगा. और अगर रेडिएशन बंद हो जाती है, फॉर एग्जांपल वी से कि भाई टारगेट ने या ओके नाउ वी से दैट ओके टारगेट ने रेडिएशन बंद कर दी, रडार को पता चल गया कि मेरे ऊपर ये आ रहा है, it leaves the tag profile, you know, it will go back, climb up depending on endurance and wait again. That is why the name loitering munition, right? Okay. और जो HAROP है, okay, HAROP also works through SATCOM, you know, it can transmit what it is seeing back to the operator. So when I am watching, you know, this is how operator we can designate a target. You know, it is watching what is this HAROP seeing. It can loiter at 15-20,000 feet, very less oral signal, negligible. You know, मैंने ट्रायल किया हुआ है खुद इसका HAROP का, you know, पोखरण में, so मेरे को exactly पता है कैसे काम करता है. ठीक है, बिल्कुल सुनाई नहीं देता आवाज आपको कि कोई ऊपर घूम रहा है. और जब मेरे को ऑपरेटर को ये लगेगा कि भाई मेरे को टारगेट मिल गया, yes, okay, it has got about 12 to 14 kgs of warhead and fuel लेता है. और वो warhead, you know, splinter होके जब soft skin targets के लिए, obviously it will not destroy very hard targets, but that is what radars etc are for. Okay, area it will cover and it will use its own fuel जितना बचा हुआ है आग वगैरह लगाने के लिए. Okay, नाउ ये क्या किया हमने, ये वेपन जो यूज किए, अब उसमें क्या है, ऑपरेटर क्या करता है कि वो डेजिग्नेट करेगा टारगेट को, जैसे ना आपको एयरक्राफ्ट के ऊपर या रडार एंटेना के ऊपर या कहीं पे, और देन यू विल गिव इट ए कमांड के ओके गो, एंड दैट इज व्हेन इट विल डाइव फ्रॉम 600 feet to you know, to the target and destroy it. Okay,
but the sound at that time, sir, वो जो
वो then by then it's too late, and it also has the ability to track moving target. Okay, that means if there is a aircraft moving on the taxi track and you designate it, then it calculates कि किस speed से जा रहा है, and it will cater for that speed and the time it takes, you know, it will lead and hit that target. Okay, so these probably loitering munitions when we used the next day in large number and took out their air defense. And then again, when retaliation takes place, what does the retaliation take place with? You know, they hit a lot of airfields, you know, right from Avantipur down to Nalia. I mean, you can count the number of airfields.
They try
yeah,
to,
okay, they try to, but hardly any damage. No, because these drones do not carry a very great warhead. You need massive weapons, you know, 400, 250, 500 kg of warhead caliber weapon to make a gadda that you saw on their airfields, you know, Rafiki or Emir Khan or Noor Khan or at places, right? Now, the point I want, or Sargodha, okay, the point I want to highlight here is, Aadi, that what did we use in air to surface mode and what did they use in air to surface mode? While we used our fighter aircraft equipped with heavy weapons, you know, like air to surface BrahMos missile, Scalp subsequently, definitely, probably, but I mean not probably, definitely must have been used for airfield strikes. अब ये हमने जब एयरफील्ड स्ट्राइक्स के लिए यूज किए, ब्रह्मोस यूज की हमने, स्पाइस, रैम्पेज, जो भी हमारे पास था, एयरक्राफ्ट के ऊपर हैवी वेट वाले वेपन्स हैमर यूज किए. पाकिस्तान फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट to the record did not use any fighter aircraft to launch air to surface weapon. Not that they don't have. They have CM class of weapon, they have some KD class of weapon, they have 100 to 150 kilometers range weapon, they have Raat missile, okay? Now, they are all long range vectors. I mean, why, if they wanted to hit our airfield, why did not they use their aircraft for these kind of weapons, which we were doing it? Primarily because of the air defense, because to launch these weapons, they had to come within the range of S-400. And they did not want to take chance.
So basically, आप बोल रहे हो फटी पड़ी है और कुछ नहीं है.
Yeah, I mean, whatever
risk नहीं
you
लेना.
want to say.
Risk नहीं लेना.
So probably they kept their aircraft in that air defense mode. Now, our aircraft did not. My point is, Aadi, if, you know, in the heat of the thing on the first day, when you were not so well prepared, mind you, you could use, you know, shoot 5 aircraft. We carried on doing strike after that. What happens then? Then what happens to PL-15 missiles? I mean, why can't you shoot more number of aircraft on subsequent days? Why only on the first day?
तो पहले दिन लड़े, उसके बाद they didn't want to fight after that.
I mean, these are questions which come to my professional mind.
Yeah.
Right? कि if you had this capability, now you should have been even better prepared, you see. आप पहले दिन अचानक आपको लगा कि भी वो आ गए और आपने दार यूज शूट कर दिया, अब भी तो सेम ही पैकेज आ रहे हैं. इमेजिन what must have been the size of packages when we wanted to hit just 9 benign kind of terrorist targets.
सर उसके अंदर भी एयरफोर्स है सेट मेरे को 3 मिले, मुरीद के सियालकोट एंड मुरीद के मुजफ्फरनगर एंड भावलपुर.
So then what I'm saying, the package, let's come to package, okay? That we what kind of package must have been for these targets? Let's say 5, this is what the narrative says, 5 in POK and 4 in Punjab. Now, with respect to the package which you are using to strike their airfields of, Sargodha kind of, Murid ke kind or this, that. So if out of the first package of aircraft, you could pick, 5 aircraft and shoot them down, what exactly happened? Why were these aircraft ignored on the subsequent days? I mean, why were their air-to-air things were not ready? And why did they use that opportunity to knock the guys out of sky? Yeah, what the hell? So point is that we had standoff ranges. We never crossed the border. Okay, we stuck to our philosophy or whatever it is, and their aircraft probably did not have standoff ranges as they had, but not that kind which can keep them safe from S-400 and still inflicted damage. Otherwise, there is no reason. I mean, in Balakot, they use their aircraft to launch weapons. I mean, whatever bombs they drop. I mean, why change in philosophy? There is no change of philosophy in our thing. We use aircraft to launch weapons then also. We use aircraft to launch weapons now also. And why would you have aircraft equipped with air-to-surface weapons if you're not going to use these in this kind of thing? Right? So in overall, the way it played is something that I mean, the whole narrative kind of thing that I would like to sum up. I think I've spoken too much, didn't even realize.
No, sir, honestly telling you, I wish you can see what people are writing here. लोग बोल रहे हैं आपको जल्दी आना चाहिए था, आप कर क्या रहे हो सर? पहले आते तो हम एटलीस्ट पाकिस्तानियों से लड़ लुड़ के हम इन्फो वॉरफेयर खेल लेते. That's what people are saying right now. So
मेरा एम यही था कि ये इन्फो, दिस इज प्रिसाइजली that we are not talking of info warfare का ना तो different हमें करना चाहिए था, probably I am sure किया है नहीं किया है, because you see our DGMO briefing, very factual, very to the point, very, I mean, no drama, no nothing, no loose statements, no populist statements के ये कर दिया. I mean, imagine what are they doing? Their politicians.
एक दो स्टेटमेंट तो थोड़े वायरल हो गए. 3 स्टेटमेंट बड़े वायरल हुए हैं.
हाँ नहीं, what I'm saying, but the way they're doing, what is their prime minister? हमने रफेल को ऐसे उठाया और ऐसे समुद्र में फेंक दिया. At least we are not making those kind of statements.
हाँ, वो I mean, that's correct. I mean, our guys are making statements which are like, okay.
Yeah. You see, where are your, I mean, your level of briefing, you are delegating it to people who actually did the job, etc. I mean, it's not that your chiefs or your guys are going around.
Center of gravity, you remember, right?
Yeah. So that is the whole thing, that information warfare, yes, it is a part of the warfare. It must be resorted to. I mean, yaar, aajkal kya kar rahe hain? I mean, you want to show aircraft, you just keep some. That's what they are probably doing. When they are quick enough to show, ye aircraft, ye dekhiye wreckage. I mean, you have some pre-planned wreckage of some accidented aircraft which are available on this thing. Just in the heat of the moment, show aircraft.
सारे फेक थे. मेरे को वही 2 सवाल हैं सर आपसे. मतलब it's a single question, but it's in 2 parts. One, the question that comes to me is about when we started striking back, and आपने इसको एक different तरह से बताया. मैंने ये सवाल अपने आप से 2-3 बार ही पूछा है. पाकिस्तानी एयरफोर्स उठी नहीं.
और रिपोर्ट्स हैं, देखिए आप उनके एयर मार्शल ने, फॉर्मर एयर मार्शल, ओके, जिन्होंने आई मीन एडमिट किया है कि बुलारी में एक वैक्स तो पक्का हैंगर के ऊपर ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल, एंड यू नो द वे ही एक्सप्लेन कि ये लोग भागे उसको बचाने के लिए और एक के बाद एक ब्रह्मोस आई, you know, they were being launched, okay. And I'm sure that if the airfields have been hit, then some aircraft on ground, etc., must have been casualty, you know. So this is, and to come back to the point, you know, my starting point. So for our restraint, you know, which we said that okay, we will only stick to the terrorist targets, we had to pay a little bit price for that, you know, for that morality, in which, you know, we gave the advantage of starting the actual battle to the adversary, you know, where they could hit our military targets to begin with, okay, and we had to do it second time.
Yeah, से turn around करते हो sir, fair enough. I mean,
yeah, then that is what I said, that you know, you are prepared. I mean, you this is what all life people have been training for.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I was saying दो simple से questions हैं. One, so the Air Force, Pakistani Air Force, जैसे मैं बोल रहा था, just refused to rise up. 9th and 10th को जब आप उसके एयरफील्ड्स के अंदर 12-12 मीटर के छेद बना रहे थे, and I'm sorry, you know, you've been very professional, but I'm going to explain it in the language that people will understand. 12-12 मीटर के होल्स, 100 बंदे घुसा लो उसके अंदर, फिर भी सारा होल छोटा पड़ेगा. So when the Indian Air Force इतने बड़े-बड़े होल्स मार रहा था in Sargodha, in Rahim Yar Khan, to a point, sir, मैंने दिखाया है अपने इसमें कि those airfields are non-operational. They're just not, you know, उसको लगेगा टाइम, एक हफ्ता और लगेगा, ठीक हो जाएगा. तो एयरफोर्स डिड नॉट राइज अप. दूसरा सर, जो हमारा अपना एयर डिफेंस और जो हमने उनके एयर डिफेंस को कंफ्यूज करा है, आज जो रिपोर्ट्स आ रही हैं, वी यूज डमी एयरक्राफ्ट, जो पाकिस्तानी बोलते हैं हमने उड़ा दिया. आई मीन 2+2 4, बट इट मोर सीम्स लाइक कि इन्होंने अपनी एयर डिफेंस, वो जो डमी एयरक्राफ्ट को, हमारे टारगेट एयरक्राफ्ट को उड़ाते इनके दिमाग में वही होगा, वो रफेल उड़ा दिया, वो Su-30 उड़ा दिया. वो एक्चुअली में तो टारगेट था, उसका काम ही फटना था. तो और ये आज रिपोर्ट हुआ है. द पॉइंट दैट आई एम आस्किंग यू इज, हमारा जो एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम एंड द ब्रीच ऑफ द पाकिस्तानी एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम, और आज की जो हालत है, आई वाज टोल्ड यस्टरडे बाय जनरल दुष्यंत, इज 60% ऑफ पाकिस्तानी एयर डिफेंस इज नॉन ऑपरेशनल राइट नाउ. तो इस पूरे सिचुएशन के ऊपर कैन यू प्लीज जस्ट हेल्प अस अंडरस्टैंड दिस गेम राइट नाउ?
See, that is what I said, that you know, when we became serious, जब हमें लगा कि अबे हमें इनके मिलिट्री टारगेट्स को एड्रेस करना है, तो फिर एयर कैंपेन स्टार्ट हुई जैसे कि होनी चाहिए, ठीक है ना. फिर आपने एयर डिफेंस को एड्रेस करना ही था, और जब आप एयर डिफेंस को एड्रेस करते हो, तो अगर आप 50 to 60% या 40 to 50%, अब ये क्या परसेंटेजेस आर सिमेंटिक इन नेचर. या तो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज, एंड यू नो, यू कैन आर्ग्यू कि इज इट 50% इन दैट सेक्टर और इज इट कंप्लीट 50% ऑफ पाकिस्तान. आई मीन, यू नो, दैट इज फॉर एनीवन, बट सब्सटेंशियल, यू नो, जो कि आपको सेफ कॉरिडोर दे सकती है, कि जो, you know, that is what I said, if at all there is a doubt, I am just being professional, you know, जैसे, and I am again going by purely on the record statement, you know, हमारे DGMO की, जब उन्होंने DGAO की, कि भाई कॉम्बैट में लॉसेस होते हैं, आप ये मत पूछिए कि लॉस हुए कि नहीं, आप पूछिए हमने ऑब्जेक्टिव अचीव किया कि नहीं. I mean, this is quote unquote statement, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that जो, जैसे मैंने बोला कि morality has a price, you know, everything has a price. So if at all we should have targeted their air defense to begin with, which we did not because we wanted to show restraint, is the price probably we paid. And now we were sure that now this can't be repeated. So now when I have to send my aircraft anywhere close to that bubble, this has to be taken out. Okay, so then वो फिर एयर डिफेंस उनके जब एड्रेस होने शुरू हो गए, तो फिर जितने भी परसेंटेज चाहिए था ना आदि हमें उसको हमारे फायदे के लिए, फिर उतना न्यूट्रलाइज किया. जब आप 40% से काम चलाए या 50 से या 60 से, अब ये कोई गिनेगा नहीं. और ये नो, जैसे सेम एविडेंस की बात आती है, आई एम समहाउ स्टक ऑन टू दैट, बिकॉज मैंने देखा IACCS एनवायरनमेंट देखा, वो कैसे आपको प्रोजेक्ट करता है. देखिए, एक ब्लिप जब रेडार पे मूव करता है, उस पे अब सारी स्पीड वगैरह आती है ना. सी, blip is identified, it is how should I say, marked. All the characteristics of that blip are displayed next to the radar, implying at what height is it flying, at what speed it is flying, in which direction it is flying, and if it is doing any maneuvering. Now what happens is, if you're targeting a fighter aircraft, it would make sense to show that blip, okay, listen guys, this is an aircraft heading in this direction at 15,000 feet or whatever, at 900 kilometers an hour, and here it was, and next moment, here gentlemen, it's missing from the radar. This is radar. So I say this is where it was shot. So you must be having that plot, yeah, from which, I mean, why not show it to people? And it's not nothing very confidential के कौन सा आप radar use कर रहे हो, कौन सा ये कर रहे हो, सारी दुनिया को पता है यार सबके बारे में. और हमारा जो integrated system है ना, IACCS integrated air command and control system जो है, बहुत ही इवॉल्व हो चुका है यार. 2010 से 2009-10 में हमने इसको इंडक्ट करना शुरू किया था, ओके, और अब 15-16 साल हो गए. अब ऐसी सिचुएशन है, आदि के बेंगलोर के ऊपर बंदा बैठा ले के ऊपर एयरक्राफ्ट कंट्रोल कर सकता है, और ले स्टेशन से मिसाइल फायर कर सकता है बाय ऑर्डर.
Jeez, are you serious?
Okay, so this is the kind of level of integration and with redundancies. You know, ये नहीं कि आपने एक ये उड़ा दिया तो फिर या इसको डिसमेंटल कर दिया तो बिल्कुल हो गया. The way handshake takes place from one system to the other is crazy. Wow. And people are trained. Okay, so now our integrated air system has got a whole lot of aircraft, weapon systems, UAVs, etc., everything integrated. So the persons who are sitting and manning these, integrated air defense systems are very, very professional. And, I have myself, I've been in operational commands, and in exercises, we have watched how these systems operate. And when you are seeing the radar plot, that when you are playing blue versus red, तो आपको दिखता है ना कि कैसे एयरक्राफ्ट मूव करते हैं, कैसे क्या करते हैं. और जो हमारी डीब्रीफ होती है आदि, वो रडार प्लॉट्स पे होती है यार. जो आप पीस टाइम में डीब्रीफ करते हो कि भाई ये जब दासी मिशन, हमारे दासी का आपको पता है, आई मीन डायरेक्टरेट ऑफ एयर स्टाफ इंस्पेक्शन, बहुत ही एयरफोर्स में बहुत ही एक किस्म की डरावनी चीज है ये. हाँ, ओके, मतलब कि बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. अगर दासी में फेल हो गए तो आपकी जिंदगी खत्म है. ओके, एयरफोर्स में. Okay, so I have commanded that. I mean, in my DG INS position, this whole inspection branch was directly under me. तो जब आप किसी बड़े बेस पे जाती है, उस पे एयर बैटल प्ले करती है, तो आप तो IACCS के प्लॉट्स के ऊपर उसको डीब्रीफ करते हो यार, कि ये देखो रिलेटिव पोजीशन इसकी ये थी, इसकी ये थी, तो वो क्यों नहीं दिखाई गई रिलेटिव पोजीशंस कि ये देखो यार, आप यार दुनिया को बता रहे हो कि 5 एयरक्राफ्ट शूट किए हमने, और आप क्यों डाउट पे छोड़ रहे हो उसको कि अब अगर शूट किए हैं तो बताओ ना कि यार ये देखो ये रडार प्लॉट्स हैं, ये अब दिख रहे थे, अब नहीं दिख रहे. I mean, is that a rocket science to understand? I mean, I don't understand. Now somebody after listening this probably wants to prove me wrong. I'm happy to learn, but the fact is it defeats my comprehension.
Sir, but I must say, आपने मतलब दिमाग का you've cleared up so much, and I am not joking. आपने, I wish आप heat of battle आके ये चीज बता सकते, because sir हम तोड़ देते पाकिस्तानियों की info war. अभी भी तोड़ेंगे. Let me tell you, there are 7,300 people watching. Each one of these people are going to become warriors and fight just because of you. I'm not joking about this, sir. Sir, last. I'm sure I'm going to keep squeezing a last question because there's just so many questions. Probably एक बारी और मैं आपको बुलाऊंगा just to talk about this because it's just so interesting. As an air warrior yourself, sir, as someone who's commanded squadrons, commanded a wing, commands, and areas and stuff like that, a country basically saying I don't want to fight in 3 days. सर मैंने काफी आज आपके सेशन से दोपहर में, मतलब आई वाज वांटिंग टू टेक अ ब्रेक टुडे आफ्टरनून, तो मैंने लाइव नहीं करा, बट आई वाज रीडिंग अ लिटिल बिट टू फाइंड आउट द हाईएस्ट हिट रेट ऑफ एन एयरफोर्स. सर दिस इज वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड.
यस, मस्ट हैव बीन. इसीलिए मैंने बोला कि भाई एक तो देखो 12 बजे से वो प्लॉट वो दिखाना शुरू कर देते हैं, 1:45-2 बजे के करीब टारगेट हिट करते हैं. आई मीन स्टैंड ऑफ वेपन्स है आपके पास. आप हमने भी यार स्ट्राइक स्क्वाड आर्मी की हुई है, कि आप एक जगह से बोन होते हो, आप रडार उसके नीचे रहते हो, रडार कवर के नीचे. और इस केस में तो आगे हम बहुत लॉन्ग रेंजेस की बात ही नहीं कर रहे यार. वी आर नॉट सेइंग कि यू आर गोइंग 2000 किलोमीटर टू स्ट्राइक. सो आपको आपके जितने ड्रॉप टैंक्स हैं, आपके पास जितना फ्यूल है, आपको इसमें तो कोई बहुत ज्यादा एरियल रिफ्यूलिंग की भी जरूरत नहीं है. इट्स ए क्विक जॉब डन. you stand off range, अगर मेरे को फायर करना है वेपन, I mean you just I will इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा था कि जैसे मैं अब क्या है कि अगर आप मेरे को उस टाइम पूछते कि क्या करना चाहिए एयरफोर्स को, तो अगर मैं आपको कोई प्रोफाइल बताता हूं तो इट्स ऑलमोस्ट इट इज वेल पॉसिबल कि कोई एयरफोर्स में बैठा भी वैसे ही सोच रहा है। यू कीप लो, अगर मेरे को सिर्फ 100-200 किलोमीटर 500 किलोमीटर भी डिस्टेंस कवर करना है यार, तो लो लेवल जाएंगे रेडार होराइजन के नीचे, एट द राइट टाइम यू विल पॉप अप 60-70 किलोमीटers फ्रॉम द टारगेट, फायर योर स्टैंड ऑफ वेपन, यू आर वेल विद इन योर टेरिटरी। I mean you are showing कि ये 60-70 एयरक्राफ्ट यार 15-20 हजार फुट पे रीग्रुप कर रहे हैं। I mean they are just getting around with each other, 4 एयरक्राफ्ट की फॉर्मेशन बना रहे हैं इधर। और अगर इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने किया है ना तो I mean इससे बड़ा बेवकूफ और कोई नहीं। I mean who will do this यार?
सर वो तो बोलना नहीं चाहिए सर, बिकॉज इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने अपने 30
नहीं, I mean I feel कि भाई यार it is what I'm saying, it is challenging.
Yeah.
It is challenging someone's basic intellect and basic planning consideration. कि someone will get up to 15,000-20,000 feet and start regrouping there when you have to fire a standoff weapon from 100 kilometers and expose yourself for hour and a half, for God's sake. I mean, they had so much time, again, coming to his narrative, he said, हमने जितना civil traffic था, सारा divert कर दिया ताकि इसको, I mean, so much time you had in your hand, yeah. And what were these Indian Air Force aircraft are waiting for you to, wake up to that level and take on your target? I mean, कुछ समझ में नहीं, see, Aadi, I was not there, frankly speaking. What I'm saying is, this is what is called connecting dots professionally.
Yeah, of course. And you've done it brilliantly.
Okay.
My bad.
I mean, it is that, it's beyond me कि ये कैसे हुआ यार। 1.5 घंटा हमारे एयरक्राफ्ट घूम रहे हैं मीडियम लेवल पे, रीग्रुप हो रहे हैं, फॉर्मेशंस बना रहे हैं और क्लियरली बता रहे हैं उनके बॉक्सेस के कि भाई एक नॉर्थ जा रहा है, एक उससे थोड़ा नीचे जा रहा है, एक उसके नीचे जा रहा है, एक उसके नीचे जा रहा है, तो भाई तैयार हो जाओ, हम आ रहे हैं।
This is, I think,
आपके पास इतना टाइम है। और देखिए बात ये देखिए कि जो एयरक्राफ्ट थे प्रोबेबली पाकिस्तान एयर स्पेस से होते हुए किधर जाएंगे? अगर वो वेस्ट से ईस्ट आ रहे हैं तो किधर जाएंगे? पाकिस्तान से होते हुए इंडिया ही आएंगे प्रोबेबली। आई मीन दैट मस्ट बी द रूट ऑफ सम ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल एयरलाइंस। सो आप उनको बताते हो कि भाई डाइवर्ट हो जाओ, हमारी लड़ाई लगने वाली है। और वो जब एयरक्राफ्ट डाइवर्ट होता है, हमारे दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट को या बॉम्बे एयरपोर्ट को या किसी और को कोई पता ही नहीं चलता इसका कि भाई सिविल एयरक्राफ्ट डाइवर्ट क्यों हो रहे हैं, और हम फिर भी खड़े रहते हैं वहां 1 घंटा वेट करते हुए कि हम अभी 1:30 बजे वेपन लॉन्च करना है, हम तब करेंगे। 12 से 1 बजे तक हम वेट करते हैं इनकी कि ये तैयार हो जाए।
नहीं, चाय पी रहे थे सर, वो थोड़ा
I mean maybe I'm getting a little emotional now, but I think I'm just talking mathematically, purely what I've heard.
Trust me, sir, you have busted so much in this one session. It's amazing. The interesting factor that you brought out is, and you brought it very logically, इसके अंदर कोई चीज छुपी नहीं है। Nothing is confidential। जो आपने चीज बोली है, आपने recommended ranges बताई हैं weapons की, and आपने उसको पूरे पिक्चर को ड्रॉ करा and said, yeah, this doesn't make sense.
And everything is, from open source and my brain. Mind you, it has got no confidential information gathered from anywhere. Okay?
नहीं, that's what I'm saying. आपने बड़ा सिंपल सा एक बताया कि भाई ये अगर इतने डिस्टेंस जाता है, ये इतने डिस्टेंस जाता है, तो ये यहाँ क्यों खड़ा है भाई, उसको वहां होना चाहिए। I think you really brought it out well. Sir, what do you say to all the Chinese air defenses and the Turkish systems that were there?
Chinese, I mean the drones basically you're talking.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. The Chinese equipment by large, जो I mean Air Force के पास है उनके पास, and जो उन्होंने यूज करा बस उनके अपने डिफेंसेस, which
primarily क्या है, Chinese aircraft है उनके पास, I mean J-10, JF-17, Block 3 probably, okay, and HQ-9 potent missile, no doubt about it, okay, and PL-15, yes, long range missile. So they in themselves they are potent missiles, but they play out when a complete battle plays out, in this one section, and only in the first day, Aadi, I mean these things came up only on the first day, never after that.
Yeah.
Never after that they surfaced.
They just basically sat like this. उसके बाद तो ऐसे बैठे थे लोग.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it will probably play, you know, they started military target, they started again. So they probably realized, I mean, why would they ceasefire come after third day or something? And then, you know, we shouldn't stop that ceasefire violation part of it. Okay, maybe it would
yeah,
have come in your questions. Now she says ceasefire violation. Okay, because it's an interesting point I want to make. Okay, तो क्या होता है सीजफायर वायलेशन होता है 5 बजे हम खुद यहाँ पे यू नो एवरीबडी एंड वी हैड गैदर्ड इन वन ऑफ फ्रेंड्स हाउस टू सेलिब्रेट अबाउट 8 बजे के यू नो हम भी आई मीन वेयर आई लिव आई हैड सेंसिटाइज्ड पीपल टू द एक्सटेंट पॉसिबल कि यार ये ना अच्छा लॉट ऑफ पीपल देयर आर क्वेश्चनिंग माइंड एंड देयर मस्ट बी जब ब्लैकआउट ना अनाउंस किया प्राइम मिनिस्टर नो व्हाट ए ब्रिलियंट मूव यू नो ही एक्सेस मेड एवरीवन रेडी फॉर अ पैसिव डिफेंस काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि भाई कुछ
yeah,
हो जाए तो पीपल शुड बी रेडी तो ब्लैकआउट पे बड़े क्वेश्चन थे यू नो हमारी सोसाइटी में बिकॉज पीपल लाइक कन्वीनियंस एंड पीपल हु हैव नॉट सीन वॉर लाइक आई हैव बीन फ्रॉम पंजाब 71 मैंने खुद देखी है हम खुद लाइटें लुइटें बंद करके वो कागज कुगज लगा के ब्लैकआउट करते थे बट नाउ पीपल क्वेश्चन ब्लैकआउट एंड इन इवन इन हियर यू नो के यार क्या जरूरत है वो तो जीपीएस पे आते हैं इन पे आते हैं ये है वो है फलाना है नुकाना है
it's
तो
about the mindset.
mindset no and necessarily what I was telling them कि यार वो okay महंगे weapons हैं you have INGPS you have imaging you know infrared you have terminal seekers but ये ऐसे weapons सस्ते नहीं आते ना $3-4 million if given a choice I would like to use conventional weapons so आप
Yeah,
मेरे को force कर रहे हो by putting these measures passive defense measures in place कि भाई हम मेरे को force कर रहे हो कि मैं महंगा weapon use करूं ओके आप एक डायमेंशन डिनाई कर रहे हो दुश्मन को यू नो पंजाब में जब टेररिज्म था ना आदि आई मीन इफ इट जस्ट टू ड्रॉ एन एनालॉजी तो मैं यंग था तब यू नो हम लेट 80s और की बात 84 के बाद काफी बड़ा और यू नो मैं 84 कमीशन है मेरा तो 5-6 साल 7 साल की सर्विस में जब हम वापस जाते थे तो बसों को रोक के चेक करते थे पुलिस और आर्मी यू नो जब डिप्लॉयड थी बस निकालो वो करो तो इट वाज इनकन्वीनियंट ओके और मेरे एक बार में ऐसा हुआ कि मेरे साथ बैठा हुआ था बंदा कहता लो ऐसे जी तंग कर रहे हैं टेररिस्ट कोई बसों में घूमते हैं ये ना बसें चेक कर रहे हैं तो मेरा उनको ये एक सुझाव था कि यार ये बसों में क्यों नहीं घूम रहे हैं इसलिए नहीं घूमते ना क्योंकि ये चेक कर रहे हैं अगर ये चेक ना करें तो बसों में भी घूमेंगे क्यों नहीं घूमेंगे इट्स मच इजियर टू डू दैट so in what happens is in this kind of scenario you know these passive defense measures still remain valid बट नाउ कमिंग टू द पॉइंट के जब हम सेलिब्रेशन वगैरह कर रहे थे यहाँ पे एंड सडनली 8 बजे यार 8-8:30 ये तो फिर स्टार्ट हो गई सर्कस somebody sent me a message circus has started again तो I didn't understand मैंने रियलाइज कि यार वो तो फिर शुरू हो गया अब now I don't know what will happen so what do you make out of this means I think to me and I hope it is true this tends to show a little chinks in the armor you know that army that hierarchy probably it is the defiance of local commanders to higher ups to say okay to hell with you you know we will do whatever we want to do or not following instructions because agar highest level pe DGMO level pe ceasefire agree hua hai so there is no reason that chief ke level pe ya DGMO ke level pe they are showing defiance and after that you know whatever they control so it's probably impulsive action raat ko aisa to ho nahi sakta na ki information pass nahi hui you know I mean agar और ये भी मुमकिन नहीं है कि पाकिस्तान नेशनल लेवल पे मिस्टर ट्रंप को इज ट्राइंग टू शो टू फिंगर्स के यू मे हैव सेड के आई हैव ब्रोकन पीस बट वी कुडंट केयर लेस वी आर डूइंग स्टिल डूइंग दिस ओके व्हिच इज अनलाइकली एंड और सेकंड पॉसिबिलिटी है कि भी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं पहुंची व्हिच इज अगेन अनलाइकली एंड थर्ड पॉसिबिलिटी इज डिफेंस व्हिच इन माय ओपिनियन इज मोस्ट लाइकली कि भाई जस्ट टू शो कि भाई you know whatever you say we are not you know agreeing to you so these are the this is another thing you know what we need to focus on and kind of encash on I would say geopolitically you are master in that I guess
no, I mean, sir, I must say this is played out pretty badly for the Pakistanis and trust you me this particular video trust me will go a long way in busting the narrative आपको ये वीडियो चारों तरफ फैलता हुआ दिखेगा एंड मैं आपको सही में बता रहा हूँ दिस विल रियली क्रिएट अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस एंड गाइस मैं सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा क्रिएट क्लिप्स डू व्हाट यू वांट टू स्प्रेड दिस डैम थिंग आउट ठीक है ये सर ने जो बात करी है इसको स्प्रेड करिए एंड इसके साथ अभी पाकिस्तानियों की पीठ तोड़नी है हमको as far as the propaganda is concerned. ठीक है? And Pakistani armed forces है ना, जो Pakistani armed forces, उनको जरा अब हम दिखाएंगे क्या होता है propaganda. By the way, he says, you know, the GGMO there ना, he says armed forces, AAAND. वो armed नहीं बोल पाता बेचारा, ठीक है. Terrorist का बेटा है ना सर, क्या करें? And that's where another difference is, guys. Please understand, here is an air marshal and there was an air marshal. ठीक है, ये air marshal साहब is better prepared than that dumb air marshal that was standing there who had no idea what was happening. सर ने बैटल सिनेरियो, एक नोट नहीं है सर के हाथ में, कुछ नहीं है. He's made us understand, पूरे सबके दिमाग में घुसा हुआ है. That is what is called professionalism. ठीक है जी. I must say this and thank you so much for that, sir. Guys, video को like करिए. Let's get into questions. Loads of questions for you, sir. So I'd request we can just, you know, run it through. We're already at an hour, but it was lovely to listen to you, I must say. Lovely to listen to you. We've got 7,500 people watching us right now. So you've got
that's your popularity, Aadi, I must say.
Sir, nothing at all, sir. Nothing of the sort. I learn as much as the next person that is here, sir. All right, guys, please like, subscribe, and of course, if you can, do contribute towards this channel. QR code, PayPal, super stickers, super chats, and please show your love to Bedi sir in the comments. Huh? Jor se. Jabardast. Create clips, bomb the Pakistanis on the logic that sir has given. All right, Vijay ji, thank you so much for becoming a member. Ashwin ji, thank you. Without dwelling into specifics, how the armed forces anticipating Pakistan wargaming post-op Sindoor. Also, how USA China intends to offset Indian weapon systems and a technological edge and strategic edge.
See how it's not only that after this particular conflict we would be wargaming what Pakistan is wanting to do. You know, that is an ongoing process. That is you do every time. हर बारी अब यही तो है, जब आप एक्सरसाइज करते हो, कॉन्सेप्ट बनाते हो, कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ऑपरेशन बनाते हो, तो यही करते हैं उसमें. So it's not only you know, after this operation that we are going to war game, that will carry on. And how China wants to offset, it will always want to offset. Yeah, I mean, you know, that only thing probably Pakistan can rely on is Chinese weapon. You know, USA is an ally sort of, but now in the current scenario, you never know which way you know, the administration tilts. Yeah. You know, it just depends on which side of the bed, you know, the top man gets up in the USA. Okay, so I mean, what does he think? I mean, it's not I'm saying it. It's a general impression that you make one statement now, then change the next moment, and then you know, the next moment. So what happens is China is a ally of Pakistan. We need to be careful of that. But I think it will be in the calibrated thing. And yes, of course, India will need weapon systems. You know, all certain shortcomings which are being brought up now and then, you know, number of squadrons, number of weapons, easy procurement processes, etc., will all be in place to counter that.
Sir, I must say, Trump called and he wants his White House back because you just bombed it. You know. Girly Miss Curly, salute to Bedi sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the contribution. Rahul Sharma ji, thank you so much. Thanks, Bedi sir, for your service. Please share your thoughts on the real enemy, China. Sir, just did anything else you want to add, sir?
No. I mean, you know, okay, forget about who's the real enemy. That you will come to know when actually one shows intent. You know, like this now, the real enemy just happened to be Pakistan. I mean, what did we do? We just fought a battle with Pakistan, not really China. So what is the definition of real enemy? Is not really. I mean, anybody who can threaten you is an enemy. And whosoever, you know, exercises that option becomes the real enemy. I mean, otherwise you don't know who's the real enemy, right? It's like, you know, there are 100 pickpockets in a market. Who's the real pickpocket for you? The one who picks your pocket. Otherwise, you know, everyone has potential to pick it. So China, yes, we need to, if the intention is to say who's more formidable or who should be concerned about more, yes, that's definitely China, but we equally need to be prepared. I think over a period of time, you know, we are all culprit probably that in the narrative, people started ignoring talking of you know, of Pakistan or etc. That, and you know, that thorn in the flesh, you know, always will trouble you sometime or the other. But let's say, I mean, you know, the way they played out. the whole scenario is not the right way of. I mean, it's not even being a good enemy. Yeah, I mean, you fight. Okay, you have some value, some reason to do that. By all means, fight. But the way this thing happened, it just leaves you with a little sick feeling in the mind that this is not right.
Jaydev Reddy ji, thank you so much. He says, with respect to AVAX, how come we have fewer? That's a redundant question now.
Yeah, no, it's like this. When you Google, no, I'll tell you, I'll just make a correction here. When you probably Google it, somewhere it shows you, because informations are dated, somewhere it will show you, oh, they have 13 AVAX, because they from the very beginning count some ZDK also. I think most of the ZDKs had compatibility issue and were almost grounded in 2024 or something. So SAB, ERI, whatever platform they got, about 5 to 6 AVAX, I think, should be operational with them, is my fair assessment. And as far as India is concerned, we do have 5. We have 3 Falcon system, on a Russian platform, and we have our 2 Netra systems, operational Embraer based. Okay, so capability is, and more will be coming up, and some more 6 or odd number we have contracted for, and they are being developed. So we'd be okay from that point of
view. Shankar ji, thank you so much. AM Bedi, Marshal Bedi looks like 25 or 30 years old. I know. Looks younger than me.
No, thank you.
Amandeep ji, thank you so much. Bedi sir and Aadi, my question is, the way our IAF indigenous technology has outperformed with the private organizations' assistance, why aren't we opting for the same model in the HAL? It's now happening with the AMCA.
One sec, let me... we are saying IAF indigenous technology has outperformed with private organization assisting. See, what happens is, it is with AMCA, it will come out, and so far our private industry is not really geared up for aviation, entry into aviation. So HAL government, sponsored agency like HAL has been having the lead. But like you said, with AMCA, and subsequently when the industry matures into coming into aviation sector, it will come out. Not that we don't want to, it is just that industry has to become capable enough to do that.
So, Miss Gurley, once again, thank you. Sir, this Indian defense are ready for a China war?
We are ready for all kind of war. You see, what happens is, now let's see, you can't, wars don't happen by counting numbers. For example, now everybody, it is a established fact that China is becoming a kind of threat to US. For that, China does not have to match US by number wise. Okay, I will have so much, I will have so much. It has to acquire the capability which can worry US, right? So if we acquire a capability which can worry China, then I would say, I mean, I don't have to have the same number of aircraft, same number of, if you draw an analogy, the ultimate, very large weapon, let's say nuclear weapon. Now, what happens? You just need to threaten someone. Now, it's whether you have 10,000 nuclear weapons or 5 nuclear weapons doesn't really make a difference. You have created a deterrence, right? So in this particular case, we are ready with China because we do have, equipment or strategy or something where you can hurt China. I mean, so China has to be wary of even starting it. Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, the kind of panga that Pakistan takes, China doesn't take that kind of panga. Like it happens, skirmishes happen on the border. I mean, it is not done the kind of things they are doing. Okay, so it knows that somewhere we have the ability to inflict some kind of losses, which probably China may not be able to bear. I'm just saying it with a little calibrated thing because now if someone holds me to it, this is much more with them, etc. Great. We have done a full episode on China. China here, I mean, in the beginning, that how will the action play out? Someone can search for that video and please go through it. I have explained it in that even with the assets we have, what is our locational advantage? What is our airfield advantage? What is our, certain advantages or the fighting ground advantages, Tibetan plateau versus our area, etc., etc. There are so many considerations which come into being.
So, Lalit Narayanji, thank you so much. Sir, do we need a stealth bomber or are missiles better? Why did we buy Rafales even though they are more expensive compared with the F-35? No, F-35 is much more expensive.
F-35 would be much expensive, and I think when the why did we buy Rafale? When Rafale, okay, we bought 36 Rafales now when Prime Minister went and, government to government deal. But they were shortlisted much before, you see. It is when the deal was happening when 5-6 aircraft were shortlisted. Typhoon was one of them, F-18 was one of them. And the aircraft which lost out were the single engine aircraft, like Gripen or F-16 or, things like that. And F-35 was not even on the horizon then when these things were taking place. Okay. So we bought Rafale because Rafale was already shortlisted. Unfortunately, the production, when did it get derailed? It got derailed because DASU refused to produce it in HAL at that time for various reasons. And it fell through. And then when we needed it, Prime Minister took a decision and we bought them off the shelf. So there is no comparison why why not F-35 or Rafale. Stealth bomber, we need definitely stealth aircraft. MCA, the definition of fifth generation would be, stealth. So, stealth will be one important component of that. So there is no doubt that we need stealth capability. But bomber or fighter, I think he's implying that something which can fight and go across.
Sure. Ashish ji, thank you. Is China arming Pakistani poorly to mislead India?
Poorly in what sense? I didn't quite get the question.
Bad quality. No, there was this joke going around that China has actually armed Pakistan with bad equipment. Yeah, you don't do that because, the end of it.
Let's grant some. Even if Pakistan is inducting equipment, you're not buying toys, yeah. In the sense, it's not that you bought a package which will open only when the war begins. Yeah. Some kind of testing goes on, some kind of trials are done, some kind of all these things. What actually weapon is capable of is known to you much before the war begins. It's not that you bought equipment, containerized it, और जैसे dinner set खरीद लेते हैं कि कोई मेहमान आएगा फिर आप तभी उसके बॉक्स खोला और देखा कि 2-3 प्लेटें टूटी हुई निकली. ऐसे नहीं होता ना वेपन में. Weaponry, weapon purchase is a much more professional way of going about it, right?
Yeah. Talk Super Tank, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your service to the nation. What could be the strategy behind not destroying the Pakistani Navy assets? What's the benefit of sparing those? A target?
No, you can ask the same. The battle did not play out there. See, in all this that we talk of, one should not forget the overbearing जो है हमारा स्टेटमेंट थी कि भाई हमें नॉन एस्केलेटरी रहना है, हमें एस्केलेशन नहीं करनी है. तो अगर आप एक दूसरा फ्रंट खोलते हैं बिना, अगर उनकी नेवल एक्शन वो शुरू करते तो डेफिनेटली हमारी नेवी भी तैयार थी, हमारी आर्मी भी तैयार थी. अब सेम क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है कि हमने उनके टैंक या आर्टिलरी या ये या वो क्यों नहीं टारगेट किए. भाई उस फ्रंट पे बैटल खुली ही नहीं ना, तो वो फ्रंट रेडी बैठे थे. अगर उस फ्रंट पे बैटल खुलती, अगर नेवल फ्रंट पे बैटल खुलती, तो देन we would have targeted whatever were the selected targets by Navy. I'm sure Navy was sitting ready with everything sorted. So that would have happened then, but battle did not play out there.
Sir, Pradipta ji, thank you. He says, sir, the glide bombs also can be intercepted like missiles. Is the bomb guided by a situation radar? Does it emit any radiation?
No. These glide bombs are not, we are talking of, they don't really have in situ radar. Some of the advanced weapons may have terminal seekers. Mostly they are guided by GPS. They've got range extension kits, some of them long range glide bombs. You are putting a range extension kit on a dumb bomb and making it long range. Okay, that is one. Or you are feeding in GPS coordinates and going. They can be intercepted. Just about anything can be intercepted. But what happens in ki jo trajectory hoti hai na, it's a very different kind of thing because it's constantly changing altitude downwards and going in a different way. And point defense, agar bullet ke saath ya missile ke saath अगर आप इनको शूट डाउन करना शुरू कर दें तो probably I think it's a little because radar जो इनका radar signature होता है maybe will not be always too great. It's not a lucrative option to do that, but yes, अगर purely by laws of physics, anything which is in the air can be intercepted.
So, Hustler ji, thank you so much for that super sticker. MPC Saab, thank you. What are the lessons learned from this engagement? Where do we need to invest and improve? at the moment?
The lessons learned from these engagements are certainly that your Eurotactics continuously need to cater for the weapon inventory with the enemy, whether it is surface weapons or air weapons, and your intelligence has to be very, very great. Mostly sometimes greater lessons lie in prior conflict rather than in conflict or after conflict. Okay. So if we analyze the prior conflict situation, probably there will be lessons on intelligence, there will be lessons on, plotting of surface weapons, etc., etc. And major part, I think, where we need to lay more emphasis, of course, on long range weapons, the greater numbers, but also the EW part, because now it comes out that the electronics will play a very, very significant role in any battle. So your EW equipment, your jammers, your countermeasures, etc., have to be top of the line and in place.
So we've got loads of them, sir. So
please. No, I'm okay, but you.
Royal Ji, thank you so much. Upil Ji, thank you. Great job in getting fantastic guests to debrief. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. My apologies, can't hear enough of Marshal Bedi.
Thank you very much. This is what keeps you going, Aadi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With short Indo-Pak distances, are we ignoring AWACS?
No, not really. AWACS you can never ignore, because this is one important part of the battle, which can guide so many aircraft or keep your situational awareness ready. I mean, why are we ignoring AWACS? I don't think anybody does that.
Yeah. Parthaji, thank you. What was the role of AI? Is it correct to expect more goody strategies from a sequential round 2 and beyond? INS Rajput's feet screams for a sequel.
See, AI, I don't think AI has matured to an extent to fight battle as yet, is my personal view. Okay. There are systems which are coming in place, which will give you options, which will analyze, सबसे ज्यादा जो इसमें डायलेमा है ना आदि AI में, ओके, अगेन मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन है, बिकॉज मेरे को थोड़ा सा पता है कि भाई AI कैसे काम करती है. AI इज डेटा ड्रिवन, राइट? वी ऑल एग्री टू दैट. AI को अगर आप नहीं बताओगे कि ये चीजें हैं, तो उसको एनालाइज नहीं करेगी. वो क्या है कि फास्ट करती है. व्हाट इज योर चैट जीपीटी डूइंग? इट्स स्कैनिंग द सेम स्पेस बट मच फास्टर, राइट? सेम गूगल, 10-15 चीजें फटाफट कर देती. ठीक है. So AI, let's talk of professionally. I mean, not ChatGPT. Okay, a system. Essentially, he means that there is a system in place with me which will guide me. That okay, what is my best option in this particular scenario? I mean, I quickly feed in. Okay, enemy has got so many JF8 and so many JF17. There's got PL15. Blah 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 blah. What should I do? Okay. Now, इसकी option देने के लिए data चाहिए ना AI को. That means, am I ready to feed in data of my Rafale aircraft, of my weapon system, of my Su-30, of my this thing, of my radars, of my everything, for it to analyze that and give me best option? So we will have to organize or evolve an indigenous military kind of AI system, which is not available to anyone else, where you can confidently feed data and it can generate options for you. And again, I would want that, AI systems ultimately will remain subservient. Nobody will allow in the near future. I mean, लंबा फ्यूचर तो खैर जब चीजें होती हैं, you don't even know what can happen. But the responsibility of human being in the loop or taking decision will remain for quite some time. अभी भी जो UAV है, देखिए ना आदि, UAV हम करते हैं, बट फिर भी ममटी कॉन्सेप्ट आ रहा है ना, मैन अनमैन टीमिंग. अगर सिर्फ अनमैन्ड ही सारा काम कर लेते, तो फिर मैन्ड अनमैन्ड टीमिंग आप क्यों एक मैन्ड बंदा को छेड़ रहे हैं? दैट मीन्स यू एग्री एंड यू एक्नॉलेज कि ये जो 10 UAV हैं, अगर इनके बीच में एक मदर एयरक्राफ्ट फाइटर जो कि मैन्ड है लगा दिया जाए, तो इनकी परफॉर्मेंस बहुत एक्सपोनेंशियली बढ़ जाएगी. वही कारण हो सकता है. अगर क्या मतलब, why introduce another aircraft in between? Means he can guide them better, he can decide on the time. I mean, so, otherwise एक जो AI सिस्टम है, देखिए ना, उसको सारी चीज बतानी पड़ेगी कि ये भी डेटा है, ये ऐसे है, जो कि एक ह्यूमन माइंड देख के एकदम डिसाइड कर सकता है. I mean, the process that your brain is information that your brain is processing is like a quantum computer. In fact, I am interested in that technology also. I read it somewhere. Actually, scientists have proven that human mind works like a quantum computer.
Yeah.
There are neurons only. Okay, तो आप एक देखते हो चीज को, आपको एक अंदाजा हो जाता है कि ये this looks good. I mean, you're processing information quickly. और that वो जो लास्ट माइल इंफॉर्मेशन है, डिसीजन मेकिंग है, काफी हद तक रहेगी. और डेटा एआई में जब तक वो बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलेट नहीं होता, रिलायबल इंफॉर्मेशन निकालनी प्रॉबेबली मुश्किल हो सकती है.
So, Scent of Sufi, thank you so much for your super sticker. Somnath ji, thank you. When will be the next war we are fighting? I want to help. Let's see.
We are always war ready. Like, when we will fight it whenever it comes. I mean, we have never kind of started it. We will not start it. I mean, I could tell if I knew, when are we going to start war. We are always defense forces, and I think we live up to that motto that we are defense forces. We are defending the nation. We are not,
going out to kill
belligerents.
Yeah. Dr. Saab, thank you so much. He says superb explanation of technology and warfare is like attending a training lecture.
Thank you very much.
Raghavji, thank you. Rafale and Scalp hammer missiles were used extensively. Drones and Harap and Harpy were used. We still depend on foreign equipment. What's your take? Actually, you know what? There are a lot of the raids were done by indigenous technology equipment. I won't be that sure that Scalp and hammer were used that much.
I think suffices to say, Aadi, जब आप बैटल लड़ते हो ना, जब आप लड़ाई लड़ते हो, तो आप this was not a demonstration of indigenization. You fight a battle to win.
Win, yeah.
और अगर ये हमारे पास ये फॉरेन इक्विपमेंट था, अगर स्कैल्प और हैरोप और जो भी हैं तो हमारे हैं यार, हमने पैसे देके खरीदे हैं ना. और अगर मैं अब इसको यूज नहीं करूंगा जब ये चाहिए, और मैं सिर्फ इंडिजनाइजेशन इक्विपमेंट को, उसकी कोई डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन, कोई एरो शो थोड़ी था. ये तो बैटल थी यार. बैटल में जो भी बेस्ट होगा आपके पास, आफ्टर ऑल आपने ही खरीदा है, आपका ही है यार, तो वो उसको यूज किया जाएगा. और उसको ना यूज करना सिर्फ इसलिए कि ये इंडिजिनस नहीं है, तो फिर वो तो गलत बात है.
Sir, Sangeet ji, thank you. He says, what's your opinion on the present morale of the Pakistani armed forces?
No, I mean, it's for them to see, right? It's for them to see their morale. It's for them to build up their morale. I like I said, I believe in that we had a job to do. We did our job, and which was defending our nation and teaching Pakistan a clear lesson. And even adversaries, like people are appreciating. I mean, I'm not very great fan of politics being played by here and there, but even staunch opposition guys are praising. This is what happened है ना. हाँ, और ये आजकल वो क्या मौसम है और माहौल है एक आधा शेर बोलने का. तो एक बहुत फेमस शेर है उन दिनों का, के वो है ना, शेर के देखना है जोर कितना बाजुए कातल में. उसमें एक बड़ा अच्छा कपलेट है कि ऐ शहीदे मुल्क को मिल्लत, दिल तेरे ऊपर निसार, अब तेरी हिम्मत का चर्चा गैर की महफिल में है. Which is that even when adversary starts kind of acknowledging your adversary, I'm not saying Pakistan as adversary, I'm saying even your own critics, your own people who were, there were a lot of voices during Balakot time, this, that, etc. And now people are, have heard very great, renowned opposition leaders also acknowledging, yes, job well done. So I think much must have been achieved.
Sahil ji, thank you. Bedi sir, on thoughts on upcoming AMCA project and Mark II.
Yeah, it has to come. AMCA, I don't know, but Mark II definitely. And अब हम सब ने चीफ को सुना HAL को बोलते हुए कि यार जल्दी करो, और आना चाहिए. अब Mark I has to stabilize, capability has to stabilize, and then Mark II has to come up. And my thoughts are that they should come as fast as they have been promised.
Carlos Mimim, this is a funny one, sir. Hi, your favorite world leader here. No doubt none of this could have happened with me still in the seat of the President of America. E, thank you so much. S400 radar or missile, which is important for Akash Tir?
No, I didn't understand. Akash Tir is a different. It's a system. It is like ISCCS system, army ka system integrated. Which integrates L-70 or Zu-23 or things like that. Army weapons is Akash भी है उनके पास, ठीक है. तो ये जो सिस्टम है वो आकाश तीर है. अब क्या है कि शुरू में क्योंकि ISCCS बहुत पहले इवॉल्व हो चुका था, आकाश तीर बाद में आया, पर दोनों ही बेल इन्वॉल्व है. तो इंटीग्रेशन काफी हद तक हो गई है, जो नहीं हुई हो जाएगी. तो these systems are talking actually. I don't think S400 etc. Akash Tir has anything to do with that. It will be through IACCS and those kind of systems.
So, Ankur ji, thank you. By what time is feasible that IAF would be informing the PF on the losses in terms of equipment? I think before you start, sir, I think the ADG MO very clearly said it's for them to count it, not for us.
Yeah. So losses, I mean, they would know. We would know, they would know. So probably slowly it will come out. It is just that truth finally surfaces sooner or later.
Ashwinji, thank you. He says, ladies and gentlemen, this explanation has given the fundamental difference between the professional armed forces and armed forces. Thank you for your services, Sriman.
Thank you very much.
SS Ranaji, thank you. Pakistan was using a lot of Chinese tech air defense. Is Pakistan's performance a fair indication of how China may fare in case they try and get funny against the IAF?
I mean, there is no really comparison. I don't think we should even be swayed by that particular thing, that full Chinese equipment or their latest versions or, of the equipment must have been given to Pakistan. Anybody will always keep a little bit edge or export. Every weapon system, we must know, when you Google even something, it will give you different versions of the weapon. It will say, okay, even PL-15, if you say, it will say, okay, missile range is so much, export version has got so much. Now, I don't know whether they are giving export versions to Pakistan or they are giving their original missiles and how much and, etc. But just because we were able to, thwart it in Pakistan, to think that, okay, we'll be able to thwart it in China, because it'll play out very, very differently. I think we just need to be prepared for that.
It's good, but still prepare. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Prajakta ji, thank you. Operation Sindoor may be used as a recce by the US and may disturb and hack the Navik to spoil reputational success that we have demonstrated. As US playing using Pakistan as proxy today sold missiles to Turkey. Yeah, we will be also planning against it, यार. So, अगर आपके एक चीज याद करेगा श्रीवास्तव जी, अगर आपके दिमाग में ही आ रहा है, आपने देख लिया है प्रोफेशनलिज्म, तो आई एम श्योर इन लोगों ने पहले ही सोचा होगा इसके बारे में. And counter systems already come up. So, trust our forces. Nambiar ji, thank you. Marshal sir, is it possible for Pakistani Air Force to hear the IAF pilot communications?
See, what happens is, this is what they played out. When we say, okay, is it possible, is it not possible, it depends what kind of interception take place. RT. Now, as far as Rafales are concerned, we do have secure RT. Okay, we have introduced another SDR system, which is with Su-30 and other people, aircraft. So we are getting onto encrypted RT. You may hear garbage, but you will not hear crystal clear. But to some extent, if some aircraft is not modified or something is not there, RT intercepts are, वो ऐसे नहीं होता जैसे फाइटर मूवी में दिखाते हैं ना कि वो इंडिया और वो हीरोज आपस में बात कर रहे हैं, मैं तुम्हें ये कर दूंगा, मैं तुम्हें वो लड़ने से मैं गाड़ी दे रहा है. वो नहीं होता यार, वो डिफरेंट फ्रीक्वेंसीज होती हैं. इट्स वेरी वेरी टेक्निकल stuff. You may chance upon it, and advanced RT sets, they keep jumping frequencies. I mean, the within that short range characteristics, etc. You can different RT frequencies you can talk, etc.
And Aditya ji also asked the same question, so I hope Aditya ji we also answered the same answer the question for you.
But
thank you so much.
We woke up on encrypted RT much later. We have done so. I mean, that's a point. I think forces were emphasizing बहुत देर से कि भाई encrypted RT बहुत जरूरी है, जो कि in place है अभी काफी हद तक. I won't say completely.
Somnath ji, okay, thank you so much. What if the enemy has S-400s? We plan for it, right, sir?
Yeah, I mean, any weapon system. I mean, let's say whatever weapon system they will have, you will plan something for it. You know, you will base your tactics based on, you see, same thing, you know, like if you just come back to that Amram, you know, suddenly we realized Balakot mein that they have longer range, they have advantage over, so we kept ourselves safe, right? Now we have S400, they don't have, they stayed safe from it, you know. So tomorrow if they get something better, you have to play tactics, you know. This is where brain comes. It is not, I mean, it's a chess game, you see, how one plays it to its advantage, and that is nothing but rehearsal and intelligence and, you know, so much of it.
So, all right. Venkatesh, thank you. Aadi, I suggest you create, clips and shorts are coming up for this video. Trust me, lots of them are coming out. Auntie Ji, thank you. Bedi sir, love your session. Thank you, sir. Goel ji, thank you so much. Difference between professionals and amateurs. Even here, he's more prepared than the AVM Aurangzeb.
No, I'm sure. Let's.
Sir, he was.
I mean, I just
you're being very kind and nice as a true air marshal, but you know what? He was. I'm sorry, you can completely ignore what I said, but he was a joker who knew nothing. I mean, a guy like me who doesn't know anything about the Air Force could say, "Yari, kya bol raha hai? Ye kya bakwas kar raha hai?" The timing part I picked up on it. कि ये 12 बजे take off, 1:30 बजे attack, time difference भी देख लो, आधा घंटा, फिर भी 1 घंटा क्यों घूमूंगा मैं वहां पर? It doesn't make sense. So you're being kind, you're being very nice as a true soldier, but the reality is actually they expose their own reality more than anything else. They were terribly unprofessional. NPG, thank you. See, once again, Bedi ji, sorry, you know, match for the Porky armed forces in their 10th generation aircraft. They're ahead of you by an hour. So they are allowed you to group. Just pulling a leg, sir. Pakistani Air Force has lost all its respect even after training with Qatar, Rafales, and Chinese S-400 and still lost. What is the implication it'll have to play on the PLA navies? Thank you so much, Alpha Tango.
Yeah, I mean, what does one say? Implications we may have on PLA Navy. You see, it's a different kind of. I don't think there is any straight answer to that. I mean, you know, those implications, you know, one has to play out those scenarios. That iska direct implication us pe kya hoga? A little difficult to. I mean, I don't want to answer it for the sake of it. कि भी क्या इसका implication ये होगा वो होगा. It's a different scenario. Complex scenario which has to be war gamed.
RKG, thank you. Earthquakes in China, Pakistan and Turkey. मैं एक फिल्मी डायलॉग बोलूंगा, भैया हमसे टकराओगे तो मिट्टी में मिल जाओगे. ये तो मिट्टी में नहीं मिल रहे, इनके नीचे वाली जो जमीन है वो मिट्टी जरूर हो रही है. बाकी सब ठीक. थोड़ा रॉन्ग टारगेट हो गया, but yeah, well, you know, India is using secret earthquake weapons in Pakistan, China and Turkey. Hashtag headlines. But it's really funny, huh? All three of our adversaries are having earthquakes at the same time. What can you say about it? Raki Sajish, Ajit Doval Saab is in action. Anyways, Krishna ji, thank you so much, sir. Very kind of you to donate 10 memberships to the channel. Rana ji, thank you. On a quick side note, is there a Russian blue gel behind you? Sorry for the non-serious question. Russian blue gel.
Yeah, that is talking of the table lamps.
The vase, yeah.
The vase. Okay, this is. I think they're from somewhere. We keep traveling all over. My wife should be able to answer it better.
Sir. Amandeep, thank you so much. He says, salute to Bedi Saab, great job. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Ramos, thank you. Please raise the issue of Kulbhushan Yadav. Saab, आपका नाम है, आपको एक फायर होना चाहिए, उसकी जेल का दरवाजा तोड़ो, ऐसे U-turn बिठा के वापस ले आओ उसको. But yeah, I will talk about him as much. As a matter of fact, guys, you know, I want to say this. I've compiled a list of people जो POWs 1971 में वहां रह गए थे हमारे. That includes our pilots as well. इसके ऊपर मैं अभी in the next 1 or 2 days when I do my Pakistan update with you, I will share them with you and I'd really request इसके ऊपर हमको आवाजें उठानी है. We can't be, you know, and most of those chaps, poor things, they would have died by now, but still we need to remember them. We just can't let go of them. So that's something I'm going to do for you guys and we'll put it out in the public domain. NV, thank you so much. Unknown Gunman साहब, I hope you're in action यार. दिखते नहीं हो आजकल, जरा थ्रो को ठगाओ, कुछ फोटो दिखाओ. But thank you so much. All right, salute Anil sir. He says salute to Air Marshal Bedi sir, who bowled out the Pakistani Air Force like our legend cricketer late B.S. Bedi also used to bowl out the Pakistanis in cricket. All right, Mr. Goyal, thank you. He says, Honorable Air Marshal Bedi, thank you for your service, sir. Should we go for the 5th gen? If so, which platform? Su-57 or others? Oh man, you've asked a very tough question.
Yeah, this is again, I mean, we are like trying to make MCA, so the way it plays out, जैसे जरूरत पड़ेगी इसकी, जैसे रफेल आ गया तब तक नहीं बना और इसकी जरूरत है और हमें लग रहा है कि हम रेस में थोड़ा पिछड़ रहे हैं या पीछे रह रहे हैं, तो फिर डिसीजन लिया जाएगा। पर उस वक्त क्या निकल के आता है, आई थिंक this will be for the decision makers. I don't want to side one side or
Similar question here as well.
something.
Gaurav ji, I hope
Yeah.
you got an answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Satish ji, thank you. Just China, new 3-engine aircraft overcome their disadvantage of high altitude, low payload takeoff. If so, how can we counter their numbers?
See, this has been one of the disadvantages with China, high altitude airfield, and I'm sure they must be thinking about it. But what happens is, let's say if those airfield were not at high altitude, they were at low altitude also, then also we would have catered for that. So it is just kind of saying that okay, now they will be able to take off from those airfields with greater load or higher. So we will kind of cater for that also. But there are many more. These questions, Adi, actually cannot be answered in isolation. Like just this part. Okay, will he be able to take off from higher altitude airfield? Then what? This whole thing has to be seen in a little context. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just say that yes. यार ये नेचुरल है कि अगर कोई देश अपने में कोई लिमिटेशन देखता है तो उसको सुधारने की कोशिश करेगा। देखिए, हमारे भी नॉर्थ में या नॉर्थ ईस्ट में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का इशू था, हमारे भी टनल्स बन रही हैं अभी तो क्या है कि वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को हम ठीक कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसे ही अगर उनको कुछ चीज शॉर्टेज लगती है तो नेचुरल है कि उसको ठीक करने की कोशिश करेंगे, और जब वो करेंगे तो फिर अब देखेंगे, उसको भी केटर करेंगे।
All right. So, so there are a couple of questions that are there about the aircraft. Let me just name them out. I'm sure the answer will remain the same. Rohanji, why did our Air Force not go for Su-57? We have Su-30. What's the specific about the Rafales? Any chance we buy the Su-57? So that's one question. Let me take the other one. Mayur Saab, he says, in my honest opinion, India will go for the Su-57s, 5th gen fighter jets, not the Rafales. France government will not give us the open source. Russia will give us the open source. Your thoughts, sir? That is the second one. And yeah, that is as far as the... Would you like to add
the first? The first question, I think we already answered that. Why did we go for Rafale and not Su-57? I said this was a that was a decision made. That was a decision made because you see, इतना टाइम वो गवर्नमेंट टू गवर्नमेंट सेल में इतना टाइम नहीं था कि उनकी दोबारा टेस्टिंग करें, उसकी रिपोर्ट बनाएं, उसका वो तो रफेल विनर था ऑलरेडी, तो हमने खरीद लिया था, राइट। तो अभी क्या है कि ये Su-57 हाउ इट प्लेज आउट, बट डिसीजन इज टेकन. I mean, it's really going to be very different decision. I wish which aircraft should buy, which we should not buy, will be very, very professionally assessed, on the requirements. There is a full branch doing that. I don't think I, as a person, I mean, I can say whimsically, I can just say based on my emotions or my opinion, okay, this. But I think for the nation, it will be done much more professionally.
But you've flown both the French and the Russians. Which one you personally liked, and nothing.
No,
in terms of
yeah.
If I tell you, sir, you got a Mirage in front of you, you got a MiG-21. Which one?
There is a world of a difference. We all live MiG-21. I mean, we grew up on that. But the fact is, the Russian. I mean, if you say that someone is flying Su-30 or Mirage, then you ask him, it's a different comparison. Now, my comparison will be with MiG-21 and Rafale. So Mirage 2000. So there is no doubt about it that Mirage 2000, I mean, was a world of a change, yeah, when we went there.
Capability नहीं बोल रहा, just fun to fly, sir. Just fun to fly.
Yeah, just fun to fly. उसी की बात कर रहा हूँ. और अगर मैं साधारण शब्दों में बताऊं तो तब हम क्या बोलते थे कि यार ये ना रशियन सिस्टम्स आर रगेड, दे आर वेरी सॉलिड काइंड ऑफ थिंग। तो वो हम क्या बोलते थे कि यार ये रशियन ना अर्गोनॉमिकली, जो आप फन की बात कर रहे हो कि किस में बैठ के मजा आता है ना, परफॉर्मेंस की बात बाद में करेंगे। तो आपने जैसे कारें लाइनअप कर रखी हैं कि आपको भी ऑडी में बैठ के मजा आ रहा है, या मर्सिडीज में बैठ के मजा आ रहा है, या BMW में बैठ के मजा आ रहा है, तो मजे वाली बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। तो हम क्या बोलते थे कि यार ये जो रशियंस है ना, ये एयरक्राफ्ट बना देते हैं और फिर इनको शायद याद आता है कि वो इसमें पायलट भी बैठना है, तो उसके लिए भी जगह बनाओ। वेयरएज वेस्टर्न कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है कि वो
पायलट
पहले
बनाते फिर उसके आसपास
पायलट बैठाते हैं, फिर उसके आसपास एयरक्राफ्ट बनाते हैं। तो ये जो हॉटेस्ट कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये है, वो है। तो जो MiG-21 था ना, कुछ हमने फिर मॉडिफाई करने भी शुरू किए कुछ। तो कई तो एयरक्राफ्ट के स्विचेस ही अलग अलग जगह पे थे यार। एक टेल नंबर में अगर एक स्विच यहाँ पे है, तो दूसरे किसी टेल नंबर में वही फंक्शन का स्विच कहीं और होगा, और ये ऐसी करके भी कंफ्यूजन होती थी। और फिर इतने वर्जन से हमारे वो टाइप 96, टाइप 75, टाइप 77, जिसका कहीं पे शूट है, किसी का फ्यूल शट ऑफ कॉक है। सो वो भी एक दौर था, है ना। तो ये भी एक दौर है, जैसे बोलते हैं। तो
I've seen a soup from the inside and I was quite surprised. बड़ा luxury type seat weat, बड़ी soft and all that. यार ये
no, तो वो that's what I said ना, कि अगर वो वैसे कंपैरिजन करो तो ये दो पायलट्स को पूछना चाहिए। पर मेरे में तो फिर डिफरेंस ही बहुत था, MiG-21 और मिराज 2000 में तो जमीन आसमान का फर्क था।
But the speed factor, MiG-21 is still a MiG-21. The bloody rocket capability that it had.
Yeah, no. See, speed. Why? Because it looked much faster. For example, अगर आपको एयर शो करना हो, तो आप MiG-21 को लो लेवल पे 900,000 किलोमीटर पे उड़ाइए, ठीक है, जनता के सामने, और मिराज 2000 के उड़ाइए, और या Su-30 को उड़ाइए। MiG-21 takes the cake any time for visual appeal, because it's like a dart. It looks going very fast. Okay, I mean, it just impress the hell out of you, and on top of that,
peculiar angle of attack like that,
और आवाज उसकी, because engine was not shrouded, it did not have advanced technology to suppress the noise, so it made a lot of noise. Reheat की जो आवाज MiG-21 की थी, वो बिल्कुल हिला के रख देती।
I mean, this is just a fun thing, sir. Nothing professional about it. And I'm not talking about warfare at all. Okay, so guys, please don't take it like that. This is just fun, nothing else. Personally, I would say, if you ask me, I love the MiG-21. Sir, just the look of the aircraft. Oh man, एक उसका जो bottom down look है उसका, and when it takes off, right, it's got that, वो एक ऐसे थोड़ा सा balance करता है अपने आप को, and it's got that. I've seen it going up like that live. Oh man, nothing in the world comes close to it. I know the Sukhoi is this, that, brilliant, but for me, the good old legacy, the blue sounding aircraft, the Hunters and the MiG-21s, Hunters ki I still love those sounds. It's the classic fighters. I think it's really beautiful. Anyways, Ashim ji, thank you. Wow, just beautiful to the ears and mind. Never heard such logic before. Where are we on this after 6 months? And so on. All right. Bedi sir is a brilliant thinking airman. I hope they are more in active service right now.
Oh, sir, I'm sure there must be many more. Yeah.
The rest of the guys are trained by sir, so you can imagine.
Even better. Yeah.
Trump family backed company signs. Yeah, I will cover this crypto and Pakistan thing. Yeah, I've got some details. I have to just put it into a presentation. मैं cover करूँगा आपके साथ, sir. All right, old news. Pakistan tested China's HQ-9 S-300, exceeded the range by 30 kilometers. China hiked the price. Poor guys. Even the Chinese didn't trust their gear.
It's more of a comment, I guess.
Yeah, sir. Krishanji, why was the MiG behind the PM Modi? Why was there a pause after DGMO said all pilots are safe? Did we develop technology of a flying fighter without a pilot?
No. See, MiG behind our Prime Minister, because he was visiting Adampur. Adampur hosts MiG-29s.
It was also to put that message across. Na? Pakistanis kept saying we shot down a MiG, we shot down a MiG.
Yeah. नहीं वो तो I mean it was there, but what happens is it was multifold. कि एक तो they said we destroyed Adampur base, they said we destroyed BrahMos की वो क्या storage facility, we destroyed this, we destroyed that, all that. So visit of Prime Minister was कि no, the base is kicking in live, and you know ये ना और MiG-29 की जो फोटो है, because it is host to MiG-29 aircraft, that base. So it is natural for the MiG-29 photo to be there where he is there. You are on mute, Aadi, I think.
Oh, my apologies. Does China have better equipment and better trained people than like Pakistan, whether AD, weapons, or drone or anti-drones? Agnipankji, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think, China is not going to like this question one bit, because if you start comparing now China and Pakistan, I'm sure China is much more advanced country, and there is no really comparison with Pakistan trained people. I mean, that was a question, right? If they have better trained people. So I guess the very fact they're handling much more advanced equipment, they need to be better trained, and they must be better trained.
Raghuraj Nayarji, thank you. Bedi sir, thank you. Leaders like you, why our armed forces have set the gold standard. We wish we heard this from you soon, but you have given us enough for take apart the Pakistani disinformation warfare.
Thank you.
All right. India exposed China, US, Turkey offensive systems. Why India agreed to the ceasefire? These countries have now time to fix their systems, and India hit India back. Pradeep Singh ji, thank you. Might I say this? So do we. Remember that.
And why did we cease fire? Because Adi, we would be, let's say, after our first attack, if they had just kind of said that, okay, something bad happened in Pahalgam, and we realized that it was a bad thing, and you retaliated. You said, okay, nothing will happen after that. So वो तो ceasefire ही था ना फिर. I mean, it's not that we attacked once and we attacked twice and we attacked third time, right? So nobody had to ask for ceasefire to India. India was always in a ceasefire mode, in the sense that you did what you had to, because we wanted to send a lesson to you. Let's say Pakistan had not retaliated after that, so would India have sent a second wave? I doubt. I don't know whether it would have or not. I don't know what were the plans in air headquarters, but the way it appears that we only retaliated every time after, because Adi, listen, what happened? The daytime was typically lull. I mean, it was playing opposite of Mahabharata. They used to fight in the day and rest in the night. Here it was happening the ulta. If India had plans to attack after attack, why would India keep quiet during the day? I mean, why did it happen that India's retaliation came only after Pakistan attacked?
Yeah.
So if Pakistan had not attacked the second night, or something like that, तो ceasefire ही था ना. I mean, then it would have just been a natural ceasefire. True. But it now happened that after the last and again, since we are talking of ceasefire, it was the fourth option which comes to my mind now, that why ceasefire violation. It was a kind of face-saving, self-redemption. Okay, we couldn't care less, now, so that, like, who has the last word? You get my point? जैसे बच्चे करते हैं ना लड़ाई में कि किसकी जिद पूरी हुई, who has the last word? So we हम छोटा सा अटैक करके बोलेंगे देखो last attack तो हमने ही किया ना. So I mean, it was that kind of childish maneuver. So as for why did India agree to ceasefire, I don't think India wanted to protract war anyway, right? It was not the aim, and I think this has been conveyed by DGMO time and again, that it must not be lost sight of that we were always non-escalatory, and our aim was to be non-escalatory.
So, all right. Last question, sir. I was thinking about you when you were here. You responded faster than the Chinese AD. Wish you could have.
Thank you so much.
I'm making, by the way, just to FYI, my store is coming online. And one of the t-shirts that I'm designing is slept as peacefully as the Chinese air defense. Slept peacefully like the HQ-9. So I have a t-shirt coming up saying that. And Talk Super Tank is a funny one. He says, IF had all needed to defeat Pakistan, that too in record low time. Was the talk of low squadron strength just to disinformation spread by the IF?
I mean, low squadron strength is an open thing.
It's just a funny one.
Yeah.
And Abhijit साहब कहते हैं लास्ट में, इसे बेदी सर and आदि भाई लोग झूठ बोल रहे हैं, हमने घर में घुस के मारा. हम तो घर में ही थे, इनको तो हमने बिस्तर में ही पेल दिया। बिस्तर, आई वुड से हमने बिस्तर से ही पेल दिया, क्योंकि हम तो घर के बाहर कभी गए नहीं, you know. And as explained by Marshal Saab, that we didn't need to go far away from our bases to actually fire at all. So amazing. Sirji, thank you so much. Aapne, time spent kara and you've explained this to us. This was much needed. Although काफी सारे सवाल होंगे, and I'll keep a track. Guys, if you have specific questions, please put them across. I'll keep a track, and अगर हो सके तो we will get you back for another question answer session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please ask in comments, Simon. I will try my best to keep up with it and answer it in the comments if you have any question, to the best of my ability. Thank you very much, Aadi. It's a pleasure talking to you and addressing your audience. Thank you very much.